Morning, Chief.
Morning. Just grabbing a little H2O before the next briefing. You know, a lot of good conversations start right here at this cooler. Keeps the department running and hydrated.
Chief, we have a problem.
What's going on?
The Mustafa brothers. One of them got into evidence storage, took the Redfield file.
You're sure?
Caught him on the cameras 10 minutes ago. Damn it. Detective Forrester's been trying to track him since.
He knew exactly what he wanted. Folder was gone when I came back from the lab.
Lock down the exits.
We've lost another body cam node. Pull up the feed.
Found him. It's Mustafa, brother. He has the cams.
Lock down the servers. Now.
He's already inside.
Turn. This is for you, Agent Doyle. Full clip. Don't let them bury it.
Garcia, it's Reed. I need information on Mustafa, brother, now.
They found him on a rideshare trace heading south on East Street, plate ending 068.
Sending coordinates now.
Copy that. Keep the feet up.
I'm moving. Garcia, it's Reed. I need a location on Mustafa, brother, now.
The broadcast talk to me.
Rideshare just dropped him downtown. He's heading for a studio called FM Wave. Copy that. Put eyes on the block and lock it down. Whatever you do, don't let him air that file on his podcast. Units are en route.
This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer. You are under the microscope. Now, we have a file. We leaked that file all over the internet. It's a file that we stole from the police department. Mustafa's file is sealed by the county, and it's been sealed for over 3 years. Unfortunately for the county, we hacked their system with the help of some individual within their police department. They are not okay for what goes on behind closed doors and what they're doing to Mustafa. We managed to hack the system. We have help that got us into the system. We have the complete file of Mustafa Al-Jazari, and we're leaking it. We're actively leaking it. And unfortunately for the police department and the prosecution office, that's using police officer that falsified the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. This case is all over the internet. And apparently in this county, at Prince William County, you have to reach into their system and take their files, because what they're doing behind closed doors is they're falsifying cases. What happened yesterday? We went to court. Mustafa had court yesterday. And I find it disturbing that NBC4, Julie Carey with NBC4 is sitting in court. And this community is not hearing any update into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Mustafa's lawyer told Judge Carol Weimer what they're doing in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Mustafa has a new lawyer that's working for Mustafa. A new lawyer that's not terrified to go up against the county and say, Judge Carol Weimer, presiding Judge Carol Weimer, this prosecutor that stands in front of you is using a police officer that falsified the whole entire case. He falsified the warrant. He falsified Mustafa's statements. And as a matter of fact, there's other officers that crushed and staged Mustafa's vehicle. There's another officer that cut and muted Mustafa's dash camera. The case that you have in front of you is a falsified case. Mustafa's lawyer, on the record, told the presiding judge that what you have in front of you is a prosecutor that's using police officer that falsified a whole entire case. Now, immediately, Judge Carol Weimer turns to this prosecutor and he asks her, do you have anything to respond? The prosecutor gets up. She's confused, as if she doesn't remember the fucking lies that she's been saying for 3 years. And she literally asked Judge Carol Weimer, Judge, do you want me to litigate the case? Everything that I've said? He said, yes. Immediately, she freezes up, literally freezes up in court. And by the way, what I'm telling you is based on a transcript that we have from court. So you can't tell me, oh, did that happen? I don't know if that happened. We have this fucking transcript. The prosecutor freezes up, doesn't know what to say, doesn't know how to respond to Mustafa's lawyer, because Mustafa's lawyer is laying out the details based on body cams that have leaked, body cams that you can see because we've hacked the police department system. Remember, this is a sealed case. And for 3 years, the prosecutor has been lying, alleging, saying this happened and that happened. Well, now the file is all over the internet. And Mustafa's lawyer is telling the judge, this case is falsified, Your Honor. The prosecutor froze up. Mustafa's lawyer goes into detail because Judge Weimer immediately turns around and he says, okay, we're here. I understand the case. There are the details of the case, but this is not a trial. And he's right. He's absolutely right. This is not a trial. This is a bond hearing. Mustafa's lawyer put in a motion in response to bond reconsideration. Because if you remember, Mustafa had a bond hearing when the case was sealed, and the prosecutor said a number of things. Now that the file is leaked, everything that the prosecutor had said is a lie. Judge Weimer asked the Mustafa's defense, there are two things that I look at when I give someone a bond. Is Mustafa a flight risk? And the second thing, is Mustafa a danger to the community? Now, if you remember, in the last bond, the prosecutor got up and told Judge Weimer on the record that Mustafa had threatened a correctional officer in jail. And at the time, the prosecutor proffered. Proffer is a terminology. What that means is, as a prosecutor, the judge will allow you to say what you have to say in good faith. Trust that you're not going to lie to him. You don't have to show any evidence, but you can tell the judge what happened. Now, at the time, the prosecutor told and proffered to Judge Weimer during a bond hearing, the last bond hearing, that Mustafa had threatened a correctional officer. And the judge denied Mustafa's bond based on two things. That Mustafa, according to the prosecutor, threatened a correctional officer inside the jail. And two, there was a lip reader that lip read Mustafa's girlfriend, Mustafa's passenger, that moments before the vehicle accident, that Dorothy had said, Empress is in the vehicle. Empress is a 5-year-old baby that was in the car, in the back seat. And according to the lip reader at the time, the lip reader says that Mustafa's girlfriend says Empress is in the vehicle. Now, since then, Judge Carol Weimer removed the lip reader, and it was litigated in court that this lip reader, one, is not reliable, and two, by law, you can't bring in a lip reader. And this lip reader is not reliable because his background is not even in lip reading. And he was kicked off the case. And Judge Weimer says, absolutely, we're not bringing a lip reader into this case. By law, you can't bring in a lip reader. So, since the last bond hearing, the lip reader has been kicked off. So, is there a change in circumstances? Absolutely. The lip reader is no longer on this case. We're looking at a silent dash camera, and the lip reader has been kicked off. So, is there a change in circumstances? Absolutely. Now, a bigger problem for the prosecutor is the file that we've hacked the system. The file that we took, the sealed file, has a CCTV video from inside the jail of the incident where the prosecutor says Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. Also, there's a recording of apparently there's a witness, another inmate that saw the whole incident and says there is no threat. Mustafa never threatened anybody. As a matter of fact, what actually happened is correctional officers went into Mustafa's cell and beat him. Mustafa never threatened anybody. Now, we're going to get into the CCTV video. We're going to get into the recording from the witness. We're going to dissect and put this prosecutor and what this prosecutor says about Mustafa under a microscope. And before we start this podcast, we're going to ask questions. Is what happened yesterday the judge's fault? I'll tell you, it's not Judge Weimer's fault. For what happened yesterday, I'm not going to blame Judge Weimer. Mustafa's lawyer did an amazing job. But remember, Mustafa's lawyer just got assigned to this case. He's a new lawyer. And there is over 5,000 items in Mustafa's discovery. Not to count the body cams. It's a giant file. Mustafa's lawyer just got assigned to Mustafa's case. Now, Mustafa's lawyer did an amazing job. She told Judge Weimer that this prosecution is using a police officer that falsified this case. But what Mustafa's lawyer missed, and she did tell Judge Weimer that correctional officer actually went into Mustafa's cell, beat him. Mustafa never threatened anybody. Actually, she went into details. The only problem is, Judge Weimer, it got to a point where it's the lawyer's word against the prosecutor's word. Where is the evidence that whether Mustafa threatened a correctional officer or didn't threaten a correctional officer? As a matter of fact, it didn't even get to that point. The prosecutor says Mustafa threatened a correctional officer, and the lawyer says Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. Your Honor, Mustafa is not a danger to the community. It never got to the point that there is a CCTV video inside the jail that show Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. Now, imagine if I didn't hack the system. Imagine if I didn't access and gain this file and see that there is evidence that's not being litigated in courts that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer, and this prosecutor is lying. Mustafa's lawyer has a lot of options because it never got to that point. And Judge Weimer, as a matter of fact, he didn't even ask the prosecution to reply to what the lawyer is telling her. Do you have any evidence that Mustafa is innocent until proven guilty? The presumption of innocence. When the prosecutor has the burden to prove that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. Now, what happened yesterday, the prosecutor didn't prove anything. All she did is say that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. It's not up to the lawyer, Mustafa's lawyer, to prove that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. The lawyer did a great job yesterday. It never got to that point. Now, Judge Weimer ruled Mustafa's bond denied. He denied Mustafa's bond. Based on what exactly? Did the prosecutor just tell you that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer? Now, can I blame the judge for denying Mustafa's bond yesterday? Absolutely not. It never got to the evidence. So, Mustafa's lawyer has options. The defense has options. What do you do when the judge rules regardless of the evidence? You bent his arm. How do you bend the judge's arm? By filing an appeal. You file an appeal against the judge's decision. Your Honor, I have evidence, a CCTV video that shows Mustafa never threatened any correctional officer. Your Honor, I have a witness that came forward, a recording of a witness in this file that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. You file an appeal. This prosecutor is terrified. Mustafa has a lawyer for the first time that actually has the balls to stand in court and tell the judge, this is what's going on in Mustafa's file. You have a prosecutor that's lying to you. You have officers that are being used to falsify a case. What's coming up and what's going to happen in Mustafa's case? Mustafa is going to get justice. And the county is terrified. What we're going to do on this podcast is, one, I want to thank Mustafa's lawyer for doing a fucking amazing job yesterday. And two, we're going to get into the details in this file. And we're going to go over the CCTV video, the evidence that was not litigated, that will be litigated in court in the coming appeal. We're going to go over the CCTV video. We're going to go over the recording from the inmate that came forward, the witness that saw the whole thing. And I'll tell you one beautiful thing. The county is terrified. Apparently, we partnered up with an agency that is animating the whole thing based on the transcript, based on the record, based on the body cam. You get to see what is going on inside the court. And the county is terrified. I want everybody that's tuning in, make sure you go into our YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Not Another Boring Podcast. If you have another device, please log into another device. It's going to be a lot easier for you to follow what we're talking about. We're going to be playing a number of body cams, CCTV videos, evidence that's going to be easier for you to follow if you go on our YouTube under Not Another Boring Podcast. Don't forget to hit the like button, share our channel on your Facebook, and to support what we do on this podcast, you can support us directly on our YouTube channel. Our channel is monetized, and you can also Cash App Boring Podcast so we can continue to do what we do on here and bring you what goes on behind closed doors at Prince William County here in Virginia.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay? If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is...
This is Not Another Boring Podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope. All right, so today on this podcast, we're going to go through what happened yesterday and what happened yesterday in court. Mustafa had court yesterday, and Mustafa's lawyer filed three motions, had filed 3 motions. She filed a response to I took a lot of notes. Mustafa's lawyer filed a response to the prosecutor motion to sequester the jury. Mustafa's lawyer filed a motion in response to the prosecutor motion to exclude the experts. And Mustafa's lawyer had also filed that Judge Carol Weimer reconsidered the bond that he had denied before. So we've partnered up with an agency that is able to bring the characters to life in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. And what I'm talking about is the prosecutor, the judge, the police officers, every character involved in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Now, we're going to go over what went on in court, and this is based on the transcript that has now been public. So you can verify this. Go on and verify. You can go to Prince William County Circuit Court, put in Mustafa's court case, and you'll get the transcript. And we'll be releasing the transcript as we go over it. So this is based on what's coming out of court. And to help everybody that's tuning in with a visual, that's where this agency comes in. It brings everybody to life. So let's go over. And by the way, this is driving the county crazy that Mustafa brother is now able to animate everybody. And I'll tell you something that's really interesting. These people are terrified. Usually you would have someone that you animate through AI can sue you for defamation. Except these characters that's involved in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, it sounds like everything that I do, they won't file a defamation lawsuit. And the reason is because defamation lawsuits, discovery goes both ways. They're terrified that I'm going to get access into their emails, their internal emails, and their cell phones. That's what a defamation lawsuit, it goes both ways. I mean, can you imagine Sarah Sammy's filing a defamation lawsuit and I'm going to have access into her cell phone when she's communicating with officers that falsified Mustafa's case? And that goes on for everybody involved in this case. They're terrified. So in the meantime, I'm having fun, to be honest with you. We are having fucking fun exposing what this county does behind closed doors. And they're terrified. So let's go over what this agency laid out for us. Julie Carey was there yesterday. Can you imagine if Julie Carey files a defamation lawsuit? Can you just imagine the backdoor communication that I'm going to have accessing her talking to the prosecutor and colluding with the prosecutor and how she's going to cover up Mustafa's case? Why do I say cover up? Because she's haven't updated you on anything. I mean, in the beginning, I can give her the benefit of the doubt that, hey, the police department, the prosecution are telling her this is what's going on. But now the whole file has been leaked. And we're going to go over what Julie Carey with NBC4 is covering up for the police department. We're going to go over what she said on the news. And we're going to go over what has been leaked in this file. And Julie Carey has not told the community on her channel. So, now that we know Julie Carey can't sue us for defamation, let's fucking have fun. This is Julie Carey in court yesterday.
Good morning. I'm Julie Carey with News 4. We're walking into the county courthouse right now for another day of testimony in the high-profile trial that's drawn national attention. I'll be inside the courtroom following every development and bringing you up.
Bond hearing here in Prince William County is being presided over by Judge Carol Weimer. Overnight, leaked prosecution files surfaced showing that an assistant district attorney acknowledged there was text in the message today.
Your Honor, this memo was obtained this morning by Mr. Al-Jazari's brother. It indicates the prosecution knew their case was compromised. We ask that it be entered into the record immediately. Yes. Name is Judge.
So, Julie Carey was there. And Julie Carey got to witness that Mustafa's lawyer is telling Judge Weimer everything that's already been leaked. Everything that you got to see on those body cams, Mustafa's lawyer stood in front of Judge Weimer and told him. Now, Julie Carey's excuse every time I talk to her, she says, well, it's not on the record. It's not on the record yet. But, and then she turns around, does a 360. There are cases where when it leaks and there's leaks, the news can cover it. Then why aren't you covering it? Oh, you're covering up for the police department. Because last time I checked, yesterday, Mustafa's lawyer on the record, that's now been public, the transcript are public, told Mustafa's lawyer told the judge on the record, in front of Julie Carey with NBC4, that this whole case has been falsified. That the main investigator that's being used by the prosecution has falsified the warrant, has falsified Mustafa's statements. You have other officers that weaponize children. Mustafa, there is evidence that showed that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. And the prosecutor lied. And is using officer that lied. Your Honor, evidence show that this is a car accident. That Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time. That the police inspected Mustafa's vehicle and found brake failure. This is a car accident. So on the record, Mustafa's lawyer laid out the details. Where is Julie Carey from updating this community? Nowhere to be found. Let's continue. Find out what went on in court. So this is Judge Carol Weimer. Judge Carol Weimer at Circus City, presiding out of Prince William County here in Virginia.
Carol Weimer. Today is February 13th, 2026. On the docket this morning, we have the bond motion for Mr. Mustafa Al-Jazairi.
All right. This is the part where Mustafa's lawyer stood up in court, and we're going to go over some notes that I took from what she told Judge Carol Weimer.
For 3 years, the state has built its case on half-truths and misdirection. The prosecution has lied repeatedly, and today it's clearer than ever. They kept Mr. Al-Jazairi behind bars on a story they knew couldn't stand. I urge the court...
Counselor, tell me why I shouldn't.
Now, what did Mustafa's lawyer tell Judge Carol Weimer? Mustafa's lawyer says to Judge Carol Weimer that Mustafa has been incarcerated for 34 months, now waiting for trial. And she told him, Your Honor, the prosecutor will tell you that it's Mustafa's fault. But I'm going to tell you that the prosecutor is lying to you. Mustafa sits in jail because the prosecutor is not ready and has been pushing this trial every time there's trial. Mustafa has nothing to do with him sitting in jail for 34 months. She says, Your Honor, the prosecutor will tell you that the family is the problem. Your Honor, the family is not a problem. As a matter of fact, they protested peacefully on public property in front of the court. They have never been a problem, and they're sitting here in court. The family is not a problem. And as a matter of fact, I've talked to deputy sheriffs that have no problem with the family. She says, Your Honor, the prosecutor will tell you that Mustafa, that because of the podcast of his brother, that Mustafa sits in jail and the trial is delayed. Well, Your Honor, Mustafa is sitting in solitary. Mustafa has nothing to do with his brother's podcast. As a matter of fact, this is a guy that's sitting in solitary. How could a guy sitting in solitary have any control over what's going on outside the jail? She tells him, Your Honor, Mustafa has a really good relationship with his lawyer. He has a really good relationship with me. She says, Mustafa's lawyer tells the judge, if you don't give Mustafa a bond, that would mean that Mustafa is going to be sitting in jail for going over 4 years. Because by the time we actually have trial, she says, Your Honor, I'm a new lawyer. Mustafa wants to go to court. Mustafa wants to have his trial. His trial is coming up in March. But I'm a new lawyer. There's over 5,000 items. There is all these body cams. There is no way that I can be ready for trial in March. Now, Mustafa wants to go to trial. And what happened with his previous lawyer has nothing to do with Mustafa. This is a guy that's sitting in solitary. His last lawyer left the case. I'm a new lawyer. And if you remember, Brad Haywood put in a motion, put in a document that Mustafa is innocent, that he studied his case, that Mustafa is innocent, and the prosecutor is using police officers that falsified a whole entire case. There's a document that Mustafa's previous lawyer put, Brad Haywood. Now, Brad Haywood tell us that he's been threatened off of Mustafa's case. Whatever is going on, Mustafa has a new lawyer. And this lawyer is telling the judge, Mustafa is adamant about going to trial in March. But Your Honor, it's not possible. Now, if we were to push the trial for another 4 months, that would mean that Mustafa is going to be sitting in jail for 4 years. Mustafa has a presumption of innocence. You're innocent until you're proven guilty. And Your Honor, in this case, I'm telling you, I have evidence that the prosecution is using officers that falsified this case. She tells the judge, Your Honor, this is a car accident. Every piece of evidence showed that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a car accident. And the prosecutor is using officers that falsified the whole entire case. She said the main investigator lied and falsified the warrant. Not only did he falsify Mustafa's statements, not only did he say, Mustafa, you told me you were arguing inside the vehicle. There is a recording that Mustafa never said that. This is the foundation of the case, Your Honor. The officer falsified Mustafa's statement. And the dash camera showed that Mustafa never never argued with his girlfriend. They're literally passing a cigarette inside the vehicle. There is no argument inside the vehicle. And the dash camera will show that. This officer falsified a whole entire case. And that's what the prosecution is relying on. Your Honor, the theory of the prosecutor is falling apart. This whole entire case is built on an officer, Robert Drum, that says Mustafa was arguing inside the vehicle. We have evidence that show that Mustafa was never arguing inside the vehicle, and the officer falsified his statements. This whole entire theory is based on that officer and a lip reader that you, Your Honor, kicked off the case. Because what this lip reader is saying about what is happening inside the vehicle is not supported by the dash camera. Because literally, when you watch the dash camera, you see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette. This lip reader, moments before the vehicle accident, Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette. How could they be arguing? And how could this lip reader say that they're arguing if they're literally passing back and forth a cigarette? Moments before the vehicle accident. Your Honor, you kicked off this lip reader because he's not reliable. This lip reader wants to tell you that Mustafa's girlfriend says Empress is in the vehicle. Well, Your Honor, this lip reader says, I want to get out of the car. Well, Dorothy and Mustafa are passing back and forth a hemp cigarette 6 times. Moments before the vehicle accident, the way Dorothy takes that cigarette, she feels Mustafa's fingers. How could this lip read that they're arguing inside the vehicle if they're passing back and forth a cigarette? Where is the argument? Your Honor, you kicked off the liberator a month ago. This whole entire theory by the prosecution is falling apart. This is a car accident, and the prosecution is using officers that falsified a whole entire case. She tells Judge Carol Weimer, Your Honor, every piece of evidence from the prosecution is broken.
Amar.
Yes, ma'am.
I mentioned Dorothy could have left when they were at the gas station getting gas because the keys were in the car when Mustafa went inside.
Absolutely.
If she wanted to leave.
Absolutely. When you watch the full dash camera, you see that Mustafa pulls into a gas station and he leaves the car with the keys in it on. When he goes into the gas station, Mustafa buys cigarettes. Mustafa buys a piece of candy for 5-year-old Empress. And the whole entire time, I mean, this prosecutor says at one point that Mustafa was arguing with Dorothy and Mustafa kidnapped Dorothy. And what they're not telling you is there is Google Nest videos inside the apartment that show it's a beautiful relationship. That Dorothy is the one that asked Mustafa to take her to her mother's anniversary. That Mustafa pulls into a gas station. That Mustafa has seen before he pulls at a gas station, he's washing the seat. He's cleaning the car for Dorothy, his girlfriend, and 5-year-old Empress. He's perfuming the car. He's cleaning his seat. He's cleaning his girlfriend's seat. They get into the vehicle. He reminds Dorothy to buckle up 5-year-old Empress. And then they drive. They get to a gas station. Mustafa leaves the car with the key inside the ignition. The car is on while he goes into 7-Eleven. He goes in. He buys a pack of cigarette. He buys 5-year-old Empress a piece of candy. I mean, that shows you how much he cares about 5-year-old Empress. And he uses his coupon to save $2 of a pack of cigarette. Mustafa is seen to be cleaning his car, gives Empress a piece of candy. Inside the car, there's passing back and forth a hemp cigarette.
And holding hands.
There's a dash camera. Casey, there's a dash camera that supports all of this that we've posted. We went over this dash camera in the previous podcast, and we're going to go over again and dissect this dash camera over and over and over again, because this is a sealed dash camera. And Julie Carey, what I find really interesting is not updating. When Julie Carey aired out this dash camera, there's Julie Carey, the prosecution office released an edited version of a dash camera, and Julie Carey only released 3 seconds. And what Julie Carey left out from this dash camera is the cigarette. Literally, if you rewind this dash camera 20 seconds, you'll see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a hemp cigarette. Now, Julie Carey is telling you that Mustafa is arguing inside the vehicle. Well, Julie Carey, is this not a defamation lawsuit that I can file? The fact that you're taking this dash camera out of context? Absolutely. I mean, you aired out a dash camera. And if you literally rewind it 20 seconds, you see that they're passing back and forth a cigarette. You're telling us they're arguing, but you'll remove the cigarette? Is that not being dishonest and taking the dash camera out of context? Absolutely. And now that the dash camera has been released, your obligation is to update the community before you fucking get hit with a lawsuit. It's coming. Julie Carey with NBC4, this lawsuit, it's coming. So, immediately, Mustafa's lawyer is telling Judge Carol Weimer all the things that's wrong with the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Judge Weimer turns to the prosecution, to Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, and he asks her, do you have a response? So let's watch Prosecutor Sarah Sammy and Judge Weimer interact in court where Judge Weimer is asking her, do you have a response to Mustafa's lawyer telling you your whole case is broken? Your whole entire case is falsified.
Counselor, tell me why I shouldn't release Mustafa Al-Jazari.
Your Honor, I have a list of...
Counselor, tell me why I shouldn't release Mustafa Al-Jazari.
Your Honor, I have a list of things to say.
Go ahead.
You cannot make this shit up. That's exactly what happened yesterday. Your Honor, I have a list of things to say, and then she freezes up. As if she's like, oh shit, I forgot the fucking lies that I've been saying about Mustafa for the past 3 years. Oh shit, there's a lawyer that's gonna fucking eat me alive because the body cams and the documents are all leaked. And this lawyer has the balls to stand in court and say, you falsified my client's case. You are using police officer that lied and falsified. And she's putting it on the record. This is no longer just me being on a podcast and telling you I have a file that's leaked that I took from them. Now the lawyer is putting it on the record.
Honor, just one moment. I thought the exhibit was right here.
Sir?
Yes, sorry. Just give me a second.
She looks completely lost.
The lawyer is confused, and Julie Carey is watching this whole entire proceeding and watch the prosecutor just fall apart. A question for Julie Carey: why are you not updating this community on what you saw yesterday? Are you still hoping or thinking maybe, just maybe, this prosecution, this police department can save itself from what has happened? The file is leaked. I mean, it's one thing if I was releasing a body cam and just putting it on YouTube. It's one thing to just put it on TikTok. No, we're embedding it in our podcast and we're dissecting each of the document, each of the body cam, and we're having a conversation. What did you do in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? So, Julie Carey, Julie, you can't save this police department. This community is looking at you and is asking you, you've told us about what happened based on what the police department had said and told you. Well, there is a leak file that's all over the internet. Why are you not updating us into what is going on with Mustafa? The transcript is public. And the lawyer, you can't say the lawyer is not putting it on the record. The lawyer is literally putting it on the record that this case is falsified. Let's watch that one more time.
So tell me why I shouldn't release Mustafa Al-Jazari.
Your Honor, I have a list of things to say.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, just one moment. I thought the exhibit was right here.
Sir?
Yes, sorry. Just give me a second.
She looks completely lost.
Yep. Shit. I don't remember my lies.
Oh shit. The prosecutor says, oh shit, I can't remember my lies. It's not really that she can't remember her lies. It's the fact that the lawyer, Mustafa's lawyer, for the first time has a fucking, Mustafa has a lawyer that's gonna stand in court and is willing to stand in front of Judge Weimer and tell him this county, this prosecutor is using officers that falsified the case and is putting it on the record. That this prosecutor is terrified to go up against this lawyer because literally the body cam and the document showed that this prosecutor has used police officer to falsify a case. It's terrified. I mean, I've never seen a lawyer tell a judge this whole entire case is falsified and I've got evidence that is falsified. He turns to the prosecution and the prosecution just frees up. And then she tells him, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy yesterday, she tells him, Your Honor, I don't agree with everything that she said. I don't agree with what the lawyer said. But, Your Honor, do you want me to go into the details? Judge Weimer is so confused. He's like, yes, that's what you have to do. You're the prosecutor. And then literally turns over to Mustafa's lawyer. And the conversation is no longer about the details of the case, which I agree. But that's how the prosecutor and the judge allowed the bond to go on for. That they're not litigating a bond hearing, they're litigating a trial. And if we're going to go over the transcript from the bond hearing, the previous bond hearing, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. They're not litigating a bond hearing because a bond hearing is based on two things. Are you a flight risk? Are you a danger to the community? We're not having a trial. But because how the judge allowed the prosecutor to handle this like a trial, Mustafa's lawyer has every obligation to refute what the prosecutor has been saying in this bond hearing. And that's exactly what Mustafa's lawyer did. And when it came up to where the prosecutor had to reply, the prosecutor is terrified to go into these details because, one, the file is leaked, so everybody gets to see what is going on in this case. And now Mustafa has a lawyer that's willing, that has the fucking balls to stand up against a county and say, you falsified this whole entire case. And here is the evidence. So the prosecution freezes up. Judge Weimer turns to Mustafa's defense, Mustafa's lawyer, and then he says, this is a bond hearing. Before we get into any detail, we have to litigate, and what I'm basing to reconsider this bond reconsideration is on two things. Is Mustafa a flight risk? Is Mustafa a danger to the community? So let's continue watching what went on inside the court.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Your Honor, just one moment. I thought the exhibit was right here.
Sir?
Yes, sorry. Just give me a second.
She looks completely lost.
Yep.
Shit. I don't remember my lies.
Oh, shit. The prosecution does not remember the lie.
Judge Warner on the bench, and if I read that look right, he just realized he's got the wrong files.
Wait, this isn't. Where's.
Yeah.
Confused is the word. We'll keep watching to see how he does.
Julie Carey is watching everything that is going on inside the court. And she's watching how the prosecution is confused. They're terrified. How Judge Weimer is now, all of a sudden, is not interested in the details of this case. I mean, during a bond hearing, last bond hearing, he was so into the details because, one, the file was not leaked. Two, there's nothing that you can do to verify what this prosecutor is telling him. She's using and proffering without bringing up evidence. He's letting her proffer. Now, at that point, he was so interested in the details. Now that their lawyer is willing to go into the details, that this case is falsified, he's not interested in the details. And, I'll tell you, is this judge entertaining this bullshit? Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Is it completely his fault? No. I'm not going to tell you it's completely his fault. Because what happened next is a problem. Judge Weimer turns to Mustafa's lawyer and he tells her, before we get into the details, after the prosecution froze up, he tells her, we have to litigate, is Mustafa a flight risk? Is Mustafa a danger to the community? And last time, Mustafa, Judge Weimer, because the prosecutor said Mustafa threatened a correctional officer without bringing any evidence, Judge Weimer denied the bond. He denied the bond for for that and the lip reader. Well, the lip reader is now gone, and that's exactly what the prosecutor is telling Judge Weimer. So the prosecutor tells Judge Weimer, Your Honor, Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer in jail. It's the other way around. They went in, beat Mustafa, the correctional officers. There's a witness. Before we get into that. So that's what the lawyer is telling Judge Weimer, that whatever the prosecutor says is not true. The prosecutor is lying to you, Your Honor. Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. Never threatened a correctional officer. As a matter of fact, correctional officer went in and beat Mustafa inside the jail. Now, Mustafa's lawyer went on and repeated a number of things. And she used one video that's been going viral all over the internet. And she's telling Judge Weimer, Your Honor, Mustafa does not have a criminal history. Mustafa has zero criminal history. Mustafa has a presumption of innocence. You're innocent until proven guilty. And you're absolutely right. We're not litigating a case. We're looking at, is he a flight risk? Is he a danger to the community? Mustafa's passport is expired. And Mustafa, she told him, Mustafa's even willing to give you his, Mustafa has only one passport. He has an American passport. And his American passport is expired. And he's willing to give that expired passport over to the court. Mustafa is even willing to give his driver license over to the court. And I spoke to where you can do put Mustafa on house arrest. You can give him an ankle bracelet. And I already spoken to the bondsman, and they're willing to, and he's approved for that system to be on house arrest. It makes absolutely no sense to put an individual who you're innocent, who has the presumption of innocence. And I'm telling you that his case, I have evidence that the case is falsified, in solitary for over 4 years. It's just absolutely, it's unacceptable. And Mustafa's lawyer uses a video that went viral, and she tells the judge, there's a video that's all over the internet, and it tells you who Mustafa is, what kind of person Mustafa is. And she goes into the details about the incident where a person that's twice the size of Mustafa is hovering and breathing down Mustafa's neck. And Mustafa's reaction is de-escalating, and he's attempting to de-escalate and is trying to walk away from the situation. That's who Mustafa is. A person that de-escalates in a situation like this and has no criminal background. Zero criminal history. Let's watch that video so we can get to see what Mustafa's lawyer is talking about.
Fucking keep it up, and goddamn it, I'm telling you, you're gonna fucking go. Are you gonna assault me? You're gonna fucking.
So the guy in the blue shirt is a fat white guy, twice the size of Mustafa. And you see Mustafa when this individual is attacking Mustafa. Mustafa is walking backward. It's trying to de-escalate the situation. And that's the heat of a moment where you can really tell what kind of person Mustafa is. Is Mustafa, the prosecutor is painting a picture that Mustafa is a violent person. Well, we're watching a video of Mustafa where Mustafa is de-escalating a situation, walking, taking steps back, trying to de-escalate a situation. Let's watch. And this goes into, is Mustafa a danger to the community? Let's watch this video.
keep it up, and goddamn it, I'm telling you, you're gonna fucking go. Are you gonna assault me? You're gonna fucking get off my property. How many times do I have to tell him, officer? Get the fuck off my property. Get the fuck off it.
I got this whole thing on video.
You're good. Get the fuck off my property. You get the fuck off it.
You're gonna go to jail, bro.
Yeah, you watch who goes to fucking jail. How many times have you heard how many times I've told him? And you'll fucking see where we're standing. Get the fuck off my property, motherfucker.
Bitch, stop standing.
Fuck you. Get off. Fucking keep it up.
We're gonna. So this is a video where the Mustafa's lawyer used in court just to give the judge a glimpse of who Mustafa is. Now, what we're gonna go into, we're gonna take a short break, and what we're gonna go into, what the lawyer did next is, Mustafa's lawyer is telling Judge Carol Weimer. Mustafa's lawyer is telling Judge Carol Weimer that everything the prosecution says, there's evidence that show that she lied. What the prosecutor is telling you about Mustafa threatening a correctional officer inside the jail, we have evidence that show that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. It's the other way around. Mustafa was beaten up by correctional officers. Now, she gives the judge a glimpse of who Mustafa is. That Mustafa is not what this prosecutor is telling you, a violent person. No, here's a video of Mustafa. That Mustafa is not a violent person. Now, what you would expect next is for Judge Carol Weimer to look at the prosecutor and ask the prosecutor to show her evidence, because it's the burden of the prosecutor to show that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. It's the burden is not on the defense. Instead, Judge Weimer, at that point, it's Mustafa's lawyer against the prosecutor's words. And the evidence has not been entered into the record. That there is a CCTV video, there is a witness that came forward from inside the jail that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. But the burden, remember, the burden is not on the defense to prove that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. The burden is on the prosecutor. What Judge Weimer did, and instead of holding this prosecutor accountable and asking her for the proof, because we're no longer using the term proffer. We're no longer proffering. That stage that was before the evidence. Now the evidence are entering into the case. The file has been leaked. There is evidence that show you can actually put the evidence on the record. Judge Weimer, the presiding judge, should have held this prosecutor accountable and asked her for the evidence that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. Instead, Judge Weimer denies the bond. Now, how is that? Is Judge Weimer impartial? We're looking at Judge Weimer, the presiding Judge Carol Weimer, and we're asking the question, is this judge impartial in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Because the prosecution did not give evidence that showed that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. And this judge is basing his decision that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. The evidence show otherwise. And the burden is on the prosecutor. I'll tell you, Judge Weimer is not being impartial. But I pedal back, and I tell you, it's not completely on the judge. It's not completely on the judge. And I don't blame Mustafa's lawyer. I do not blame Mustafa's lawyer. She did an amazing job yesterday. But I'll tell you, Mustafa's lawyer is new to the case, and there's over 5,000 items that she's looking at in this case. And that's where we came in. I've reached and hacked the prosecutor and the police department server, where now I have a file. And in this file, there's a CCTV video. There is a recording of a witness where Mustafa's lawyer can now, because he's not impartial, because he ruled regardless of the evidence, Mustafa's lawyer can file an appeal to appeal Judge Weimer's decision. What do you do when a judge, regardless of the evidence, regardless of the evidence, You bent his arm by filing an appeal. That there is evidence that show that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. So we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to have Mohammed from Unredacted Files podcast. Mohammed, our co-host, is now flying solo. He's on his own. He has his own channel under Unredacted Files podcast on YouTube. We're going to have him on our podcast. We're going to host him on our podcast. And we're going to get into the details of what happened yesterday and what's going to happen going forward with the appeal that Mustafa's lawyer will be filing. And we're going to get into those details.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Withdraw from the case.
Since we're on a break, I just wanted to say that.
All right.
So make
Hi,
sure
Mama.
you're aware of that. Okay? If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you, if any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you, if any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay?
Mic
If they
is
get
open.
disclosed,
See
that
if
is going
it's
to put me in a situation
We
where I will
are
have
good to go.
withdraw from the case.
Are you good?
Okay.
All right. See if it switches back to you every time you talk. When you talk, does it switch back to you?
Testing. My mic's off.
Disclose that information
Is
in
it,
any
no,
way.
you have to talk.
All of it needs to
Testing.
be destroyed now. But if you
I think so.
disclose
Yeah.
it in any
Yeah.
way,
Yep. That's good.
it's
All
going to
right.
put
Now,
me in
now
a
it's on. Oh, maybe my headphones not good.
Oh yeah, your headphone's not connected. All right. Well, while you get your headphone connected, this is not another Bar on podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope.
We can't hear you, Amar.
There we go. I've got Casey on TikTok. I've got Zulak. Thank you for being here. Everybody else that's tuning in, send me a request. I'll bring you back up. and we'll have a conversation. We're live on YouTube under Not Another Boring Podcast. We have Muhammad, our host, our co-host, who is now he has his own channel on YouTube. Now he has his own channel under Unredacted Files Podcast. Tune into his channel. There's a lot of details that's coming out of his channel that are disturbing. So we have him here on our podcast. I want to thank Muhammad for being here. Muhammad, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, what we're going to talk about today is what went on in Mustafa had court yesterday, and Mustafa's lawyer filed a couple of motions. We're going to get into those details now that we have Muhammad here. It's going to be beautiful going into these details. I want to thank everybody for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to share our YouTube channel on your Facebook. And if you want us to continue doing what we're doing, our channel is monetized. So you can support us directly on our YouTube channel, or you can just Cash App us directly on our Cash App, which is a beautiful name for our Cash App, Boring Podcast. Our Cash App for this channel is Boring Podcast. Support us so we can continue doing what we do. And what we do is very simple. We're exposing what the county does behind closed doors. Unfortunately, you have to reach into the county server and hack their system and get the file that they've been hiding. The Mustafa Al-Jazari case has been sealed for going over 3 years. And for 3 years, they're telling you that Mustafa is guilty, that Mustafa crashed a vehicle on purpose, that he was arguing with his girlfriend, that Mustafa is a monster. Now, when we stole the file, we found the body cams in the document and the evidence that show that the county have falsified this whole entire case. I mean, explain to me why you're going to seal off Mustafa's dash camera. Oh, that's right. Mustafa has a dash camera inside the vehicle, and it show that they lied about Mustafa, that there is no argument inside the vehicle. Wait a minute. Oh, they're passing a cigarette. That Mustafa and his girlfriend are passing back and forth a cigarette, a hemp cigarette, 6 times. Oh, they sealed off this dash camera. But thanks to us, and unfortunately for the county, we stole this dash camera and leaked it, along with the body cams in the document that show the county falsified a whole entire case. Now, yesterday, Mustafa had court, and Mustafa's lawyer had filed a bond reconsideration, that the judge is going to reconsider the bond based on the evidence that is now on the table. It shows that Mustafa should get a bond. So we have Muhammad, and we're going to talk about the details. Muhammad, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I was going to say one thing that's really interesting is something that the judge said yesterday. And he said something about every time Mustafa gets a new lawyer, new information comes in. I mean, when you really think about that, whose fault is that? The prosecutor is trickling down information from one lawyer to the next. It's like the more lawyers he switches over, the more information gets released. I mean, if you look at the information that's available today to Mustafa's lawyer, it was not available to Blake Weiner. It was not available to Brad Haywood. Okay, and one of the most disturbing pieces of information that we have today is a sworn affidavit to Mustafa's arrest warrant. And the affidavit states, Robert Drum tells a magistrate that he spoke to Mustafa in person on the scene of the accident. And we know that's a lie. We know that's flat out lie.
By the way, I have the affidavit. If you want me to pull it up, let me know.
Yeah, pull it up, because he specifically says, I spoke to Mr. Mustafa Al-Jazari on the scene of the accident, and that Mustafa was allegedly out of it, that he seemed like he was on some kind of substance, or he was not fully there. I mean, you're talking about, forget that he has a concussion. Just the mere fact that he said he spoke to the defendant at the scene of the accident, and that was a lie. How could you, that's not a mistake, by the way. It's not a mistake. You don't go, after 20 years of service, you don't just go to a magistrate and say, by accident, I spoke to the defendant. It's not an accident.
Well, we know that Robert Drum never spoke to Mustafa because we have the body cams.
And we know for a fact that this affidavit was not available to the previous counsel, because otherwise they would have litigated in court. The previous lawyer would have went to the court and said, this officer flat out lied. And that motion to dismiss, he would have said, you swore an oath to this statement that you spoke to Mustafa, and a warrant was issued based on your sworn affidavit, and that was a lie. I mean, a judge issued to an officer, take that man's freedom away. He's been sitting in jail for 3 years based on that sworn affidavit alone. Okay? Robert Drum also swore that Mustafa never took any evasive action to avoid a vehicle accident, and we know today that was a lie.
Well, we know that's a lie because we have the EDR.
The data recorder shows Mustafa was on the brake the entire time. There were skid marks from Mustafa's vehicle, that Mustafa was trying to avoid an accident, and it's not until the fourth lane that the Chevy Suburban turned into him. And when you look at the Chevy Suburban's data recorder, it shows she was not paying attention. She never hit the brake in that 5-second window.
So what I have here is Mustafa's EDR. I mean, Robert Drum says Mustafa never did anything or any evasive. He said Mustafa never hit the brake and didn't do anything to avoid a vehicle accident. Well, explain to me how, as Mustafa's EDR show, that his foot is on the brake the whole entire time.
I mean, the reason why
trying to stop the vehicle.
The reason why I bring this up is because the judge asked yesterday, are there any changes in circumstance for him to even consider the bond? And it seemed like the judge was listening for the first couple of minutes when his attorney was making these points that Mustafa has been in jail for 3 years. He has not been in trouble. That the prosecutor lied about Mustafa's history. He's never been convicted of a crime. Any allegations that they've made were dismissed. Any allegation that the prosecutor wants to bring up, that Robert Drum swore an oath that Mustafa has an abusive domestic violence history, that was a lie, because Mustafa has no criminal background. He has no criminal background. Yet the prosecutor cited all that misinformation in her initial bond hearing for Mustafa. And for the judge to say, are there any changes in circumstance? Yes, Judge, you just recently kicked off the lip reader. That was the reason why Mustafa was denied bond. That was the reason why he was denied bond. The prosecutor said, I proffer that I have a lip reader that's going to say that Dorothy said no Empress. No. That lip reader has been kicked off the case.
The lip reader absolutely
That's a major change in circumstance.
The lip reader absolutely has been kicked off the case, and that's a major change of circumstances. Now, real quick, before we go into the details, before we move on, you said that the lawyer, Mustafa's lawyer, told Judge Weimer that Mustafa has zero criminal history, no criminal history, and she mentioned that she talked about his previous ex-girlfriend. Now, I have a CCTV video from when Mustafa was living with his ex-girlfriend.
The thing
that gives you insight into who Mustafa is.
Regardless of what you have, Mustafa has never been convicted of a crime, so it's irrelevant either to even bring it up or talk about it. It's irrelevant.
But the prosecutor is bringing it up.
The prosecutor, well, here's the thing. Robert Drum said that Mustafa has an abusive relationship with Dorothy. And that is 100%. There's not even a police record that there was any domestic violence or domestic issues between Mustafa and Dorothy. Any issues that Dorothy had with domestic violence was with her previous relationships. Was her ex-husband, her ex-boyfriend. Mustafa had just came into the picture. Mustafa had only known Dorothy for 3 months. So Robert Drum swore an oath, issued a warrant based on complete lies. Anything that anybody said about Dorothy having domestic issues, Robert Drum took that person's name and changed it to Mustafa.
All right.
And it's easy to verify, by the way. It's very easy to verify.
Absolutely.
All you have to do is pull up Mustafa's name with Prince William County or Stafford County and see what police reports say about Mustafa. And the reality is there is none. There are no calls to Mustafa and Dorothy's relationship. There's no issues whatsoever. Yet Robert Drum had Mustafa arrested. They took away his freedom based on Robert Drum's false testimony.
Well, I'll tell you something that's real and true. Let's examine what the prosecutor is talking about. I mean, the prosecutor wants to paint Mustafa as a violent person, as a person that has a problem with his previous ex-girlfriend. So I have a CCTV video from Mustafa's apartment with his ex-girlfriend.
Look,
and in this video,
all I'm going to say is, what was the reason why Mustafa was denied bond? Let's put that on pause. Let's look at why Mustafa was denied bond.
Well,
the prosecutor proffered something very specific.
Very specific.
The last time she said that Mustafa had written correctional officers' names down. He had a list of correctional officers, right? And that Mustafa had an issue with a specific jail officer, Jessica Salas, right? Now, today, because you stole that file, we know for a fact that there are CCTV videos from that date.
Absolutely. And we're going to get into it.
Now, before you go into the video, I just want to say why Mustafa would have a list of correctional officers. Well, since that time, that prosecutor had alleged that Mustafa was making a list of correctional officers, there has been a major lawsuit that was filed in federal court in the Eastern District of Virginia. And the same officers on that list are listed as defendants in that civil lawsuit. It's a 1983 civil rights violation that was filed by Mustafa in federal court. So for the prosecutor to try to demonize someone who's taking notes on who his abusers are, it's just bullshit. It's bullshit. And the lawyer stated yesterday on the record that Mustafa is a very meticulous note taker. I mean, Mustafa worked for a law firm for 3 years in the past. Okay? He knows how to take notes. And when someone is abusing him, he's going to note it down because he knows that he's being held illegally and that his rights are being violated. And these are his abusers. He has a right to take notes so that in the future, he has the right to file a U.S. 1983 civil rights lawsuit. Okay?
Absolutely.
And the fact that a active federal lawsuit is pending today, it justifies why Mustafa has notes. It justifies why those officers are listed on his notepad.
The problem that I have with yesterday is that the prosecutor, the burden to prove that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer is not on Mustafa's lawyer. It's on the prosecutor.
Exactly.
I mean, the prosecutor proffered that say that Mustafa did something, threatened a correctional officer inside the jail, but she's not giving... It's her job to give the evidence that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. It's not the lawyer's job. I find it's disturbing for Judge Weimer not to ask the prosecutor, what is your proof? Because Mustafa's defense says that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer.
If you really think about it, Mustafa doesn't have to say anything. The burden of proof, like you say, is on the prosecutor. According to the judicial system that we live with today, you are presumed innocent. But this court, this specific court, Prince William County Circuit Court, under Judge Weimer and Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, they flipped the script. You have to prove that you're innocent in Mustafa's case. And by the way, only Mustafa's case, that you have to go in and you have to prove that you are innocent. You're not presumed innocent any longer in Mustafa's case. In Prince William County, you have to come in with evidence that you are innocent. And then judicial system doesn't work like that.
Now, yesterday,
it doesn't work like that.
Absolutely. What we saw yesterday is Judge Weimer not holding this prosecutor accountable and asking her, the burden of proof is on you. You have to give me evidence. Instead, but I can't completely blame Judge Weimer though. I mean, Mustafa's lawyer could have yesterday told Judge Weimer, Your Honor, I would like to introduce exhibit CCTV video that's in Mustafa's file that show Mustafa of the incident. There's a video of the incident in Mustafa's file. Your Honor, I would like to introduce an exhibit. Well, a witness came forward, another inmate that says Mustafa did not threaten. Mustafa's lawyer didn't do that. But now, do I blame her? Absolutely not. I mean, this is a new lawyer and being introduced to a case that has 5,000 exhibits.
You know, another thing I want to say is
what she could do is she can file an appeal.
Oh, 100%. Mustafa has the right to an appeal. And the fact that the judge, you know, it was just weird, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm taking notes, and the attorney, the defense attorney would say her statements, okay? And then the judge would look at the prosecutor, and the prosecutor stood there yesterday, which was very odd. She's asking the judge, I have a list of things that to counter what the defense attorney said. And then she stands there and just staring at the judge. And then she says, do you want me to go through them? And the judge is looking at her like, I mean, yeah, go ahead. Like, what are you waiting for? And then she pauses for a second. Okay. And I think I know what the prosecutor was thinking when she paused. And that was, oh shit, I forgot what I lied about a year ago. I don't know why this man should be held without bond. I don't remember what the lies specifically. And the reason why I know that is because on Mustafa's initial bond hearing, Sarah Sammy stood in court and said to a judge, and that was the reason why Mustafa was denied bond initially. She said Mustafa had crashed his car previous to this incident. In a separate incident, Mustafa had previously crashed his car and gave his passenger, someone by the name of Jason Nance, traumatic brain injury. That Mustafa had done this in the past. And since August of 2023, she has never repeated that lie again. But that day in August, Mustafa was denied bond. The judge specifically said, I'm going to deny you bond because I'm going to say that you're a danger to the community. If what the prosecutor is telling me, that you crashed your car and gave someone traumatic brain injury before this accident. Okay. Now, Jason Nance has since came forward, given a statement and said, Robert Drum, the same officer that lied, the same officer that falsified the affidavit to Mustafa's warrant, that's the same officer that we see interviewed Jason Nance, and it was a complete lie. Jason Nance specifically said, I never said that to Officer Robert Drum. I never said that to the police. And by the way, that's something that, according to Judge Weimer, Sarah Sammy should have verified before just proffering it.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do, there's a video where Jason Nance had a conversation with you that the police department and the prosecution have lied about him, that Jason Nance never said that Mustafa gave him never was in a vehicle accident, never gave him a brain injury, but it's being litigated in court, and that's why Mustafa's bond was originally denied. Now, we're going to go over that video, but I want to slow down the conversation, and I want to go back to Mustafa's ex-girlfriend. Mustafa has zero criminal history, has no criminal history, but this prosecutor is muddying up the water. And what they've done in Mustafa's file is the main investigator says Mustafa has an extensive abusive relationship with Dorothy. Mustafa, he's mixing up the ex-husband name with Mustafa.
I mean, the ex-husband literally sent a death threat to Dorothy the night of the accident. The night before the accident, he sent her a death threat. Okay, and that is an email that was sent to Dorothy that the police have, the prosecutor have, because they have Dorothy's cell phone, that a witness also read this email. So it's not just hearsay. A witness physically read this email the night before the accident.
I mean, forget the email. It's the, if you look up the ex-husband's charges.
Well, yeah, he also has charges of stalking and
threatening to kill Dorothy.
Threatening to cause harm and death to Dorothy.
Now, Mustafa we have the Google Nest videos inside the apartment that show Mustafa has a beautiful relationship with his girlfriend, Dorothy, and the kids. It's a beautiful relationship that Mustafa has with his family.
And those videos are on his cell phone, again, that the police have and the prosecutor has, and they've just been turned over to the defense.
Mustafa has no history of violence with Dorothy. It's a beautiful relationship. Mustafa has no criminal history or violence with his previous ex-girlfriend. The prosecutor is telling Judge Weimer that, Your Honor, Mustafa is a violent person. Well, hold on. If you look up Mustafa's history, Mustafa has no criminal history. Now, what I want to do, I want to take you and everybody into Mustafa's previous relationship. I have a CCTV video from Mustafa's apartment before Mustafa left his ex-girlfriend. And let's take a look at how Mustafa interact with his girlfriend and interact with the mother of his girlfriend. In this video, what you'll see is that you'll see a mother. Mustafa, this is the mother's apartment. At the time, I believe that Mustafa lost his job, so the rent wasn't being paid, and every mother is justified to ask for the rent. As a matter of fact, she was very emotional that day. She was yelling at Mustafa and his girlfriend. But what you want to look at and what you want to pay attention to, I mean, the prosecutor is telling us that Mustafa is a violent person. Well, let's look at Mustafa's reaction and how he's interacting with the mother of his ex-girlfriend. How does Mustafa react? I mean, we're litigating, is Mustafa a danger to the community? Well, we can see what Mustafa and how Mustafa react. You see Mustafa, the way he reacts to that mother, you'll see he's telling her, let me put my shoes on. Let me get my stuff. I'm going to leave, but let me just get my stuff. And then he leaves. He collects his item, puts his shoes on, and leave. And his ex-girlfriend leave with him. Now, this mother is justified. She's asking for the rent. She's fed up. She wants the rent. Let's take a look at how Mustafa interact with that mother when that mother is violently screaming at him. And the question is Mustafa a danger to the community? Is Mustafa a violent person? And this is Mustafa's previous relationship. The prosecutor is talking about this relationship, who I remind everybody, Mustafa has no criminal history. If you go and look up Mustafa, there is no criminal history in Mustafa, and we get to see how Mustafa interact with his ex-girlfriend and the mother of his ex-girlfriend. So let's take a look.
I'll be in the house. Please. Let's go.
Okay,
let's do this. Get out of here.
Don't touch my cigarettes.
Let's go. Let's go. The mommy will get out of there.
I know. Don't touch my stuff.
No more people there, so let's go.
Don't touch my stuff.
I told you. No. Cigarette. Cigarette in my house. I know.
This is not your house.
Okay. Let's go. Let's go.
That's
my house. Let's go.
I'm gonna go to court and tell my rental assistance for.
Go ahead. That's fine. Let's go.
You see that Mustafa is putting on his shoes. You see Mustafa is telling that mother, give me a minute, let me put my shoes on. Give me a minute, let me collect my items. I'm going to leave. And that's how Mustafa, and then the girlfriend leaves with Mustafa. Is that a violent person? I mean, why do you think this prosecutor is so terrified? She has no leg to stand on in court. I remind everybody, you can verify this yourself. This is a video and we're watching how Mustafa interact with the mother of his ex-girlfriend.
And it's very similar to how he reacts when that fat guy is yelling in his face, spitting at him, okay, and how he reacted towards that situation.
You're talking about the video that went viral, and that's the video that the lawyer was talking about in court, Mustafa's lawyer.
That shows you who Mustafa is, what kind of person, what kind of personality he has. He's a very calm person, okay? He's a very de-escalating person, okay? And these videos clearly prove it. Okay. Now the prosecutor wants to proffer proffer that. You know, I just want to say something that's disturbing about the proffer process. Okay. Now, when you proffer something in court, the reason that there is a proffer system in court is because when two parties agree on a specific issue, and they're not going to waste the judge's time, they're not going to waste the court's time to go through the physical evidence. They can proffer when they're both in agreement. They're both agreement. They have an agreement on what the evidence is going to show. Now, in this case, the judge has allowed the prosecutor to lie because you can proffer in order to save the court time. Okay, that's the reason why there's proffer. When both parties are in an agreement on what the evidence is going to show, and there's no there's not even going to be a dispute between what one side thinks about the evidence than the other side. In that case, the prosecutor, the defense attorney, they're allowed to proffer to save the court time, to save the judge time from going through physical evidence. Now, in this case, every time the judge has allowed the prosecutor to proffer, and that's illegal, because when you proffer something, you have to be in agreement with the other side, okay? But in this case, every time the prosecutor was allowed to proffer, she's proffered something that was 100% in dispute with the other party. So I don't know how this prosecutor is still getting away with it today, how she's allowed to proffer when both parties are not in an agreement. I mean, the reason why you're proffering is so that the other side does not say, well, hold on, the evidence does not show that. That's the reason for proffer.
And that's where that's why we come in and say, is Judge Weimer impartial in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Absolutely not.
He's definitely not impartial. I mean, yesterday, I want to say yesterday, when the judge told the prosecutor to go ahead and litigate what your response is to the defense attorney. Go ahead and litigate it. Say it. She said, I have a list of things. And the judge says, well, go ahead. And then abruptly, the judge says, no, I'm just going to deny bond. I mean, you're going to read the transcript yourself. She was supposed to respond to what the defense attorney had just said. And then the judge, after looking at the prosecutor, looking at her face, basically saying, I don't remember my lies from the last hearing. I don't have my lies. I don't have my notes. I don't have shit. Okay? And the judge all of a sudden says, no, that's it. Denied bond. That's it. I'm not going to reconsider it. That's
I lined up with an agency that animates what's going on, that brings these people to life. I want to play that for you real quick.
It's just weird. It's just weird when the defendant does not know why he's being denied bond. When his attorney does not know why he's being denied. I mean, yesterday, I'm trying to think, why was Mustafa denied bond? And really, nobody knows. And if you don't know why you've been denied bond, you cannot formulate a defense. Therefore, you don't have a fair judicial system. This is not a fair hearing. When you don't know why you've been denied bond, there's no reason given why he was denied bond. I mean, this is a new attorney. She has new information. And she's asking the courts, why is my client still sitting in jail when I just told you that the whole narrative, the whole report was falsified? The police manufactured false probable cause to hold this man, and the judge refuses to tell us why he's holding this man in jail. It's against the law. This is not a third world country. This is the United States of America. You have a right to formulate a defense. You have the right to the presumption of innocence. A prosecutor can't just come in and, based on false reports, make up false allegations and proffer false information. You can't do that. You just can't do it.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to take you inside the court of what happened yesterday. I've lined up with an agency that beautifully bring these people to life, and the county apparently is terrified.
And I have to say, those videos are, extremely on point. They're on point.
They're based on the transcript.
So tell me why I shouldn't release Mustafa Al-Jazari.
Your Honor, I have a list.
For 3 years, the state has built its case on half-truths and misdirection. The prosecution has lied repeatedly, and today it's clearer than ever. They kept Mr. Al-Jazari behind bars on a story they knew couldn't stand. I urge the court...
Counselor, tell me why I shouldn't release Mustafa Al-Jazari.
Your Honor, I have a list of things to say.
Go ahead.
Literally froze up.
She froze up.
Your Honor, just one moment. I thought the exhibit was right here.
Sir?
Yes, sorry, just give me a second.
She looks completely lost.
Yep.
Shit. I don't remember my lies.
Oh, shit. The prosecution does not remember the lie.
Judge Warner on the bench, and if I read that look right, he just realized he's got the wrong files.
Wait, this isn't... Where's...
Yeah.
Confused is the word. We'll keep watching to see how he does.
Yes. Mustafa, your bond is denied.
Denied based on what?
No one knows. No one knows why his bond was denied. Nobody knows. The prosecutor doesn't even know. She doesn't even remember what the lie was. She doesn't remember if it was the Jason Nance thing. She doesn't remember if it was the jail incident, she doesn't remember anything.
I mean, apparently, when Mustafa's lawyer filed an appeal, she has to go and appeal. I mean, replies to all of it. I mean, she literally has to read the transcript from the first bond hearing. She literally have to read every transcript for the past 3 years.
She's going to have to read up on why the judge denied him bond the last time. And even the last time, we really don't know what the judge based it on, because Blake Weiner was not allowed to bring in any evidence. Okay, if you remember correctly, Blake Weiner received CCTV footage from the jail. He received information about the statement from the witness, and then the judge said, "I'm not gonna entertain it. He's not gonna listen to it." And Blake Weiner should have appealed that decision right away, but because Mustafa's trial was within the next 2 months, Blake Weiner says, "I'm not gonna appeal it because we're gonna go to trial in 2 months. So I'm just not gonna appeal it." And the trial got extended once again. And now today we sit with a case, and we don't know why this man was denied bond.
I can pull up what Julie Carey aired that on NBC4 and what she saw happen in that court. I mean, Julie Carey on NBC4 told us that Judge Weimer denied Mustafa bond. He originally gave him a bond and then reversed his decision 7 days later based on two things: the lip reader and that Mustafa, according to the prosecutor alleged without evidence that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. So let's listen to what Julie Carey has to tell us.
No. The look the dash cam video captures on Dorothy Fontaine's face is clearly one of fear in the seconds just before the crash.
One of fear?
Well, what do you expect? What do you expect? How would you expect a person to react when they're about to get in a car accident? What do you expect? Do you want her to be smiling? Do you want her to say cheese? I mean, you're getting into a car accident. Of course it's going to be fucking fear.
Well, I find it interesting that Julie Carey, when she's airing out this edited version of a dash camera, she's removing that Dorothy and Mustafa are literally passing a cigarette moment. If you literally rewind this dash camera, literally 20 seconds, what you're going to see
and Julie Carey alleges that she does not have the full video, but it's available today.
It's all over the internet.
Today it's available, and she still decides to stick to the old story, stick to the same old lies, and pretend like, oh, there's limited information. The whole entire case file is leaked all over the internet, so you can't lie about it anymore.
Let me show you. If you literally rewind this dash camera, literally 20 seconds, what you're going to see is literally Dorothy and Mustafa are passing back and forth a hemp cigarette. Based on the toxicology, this is a hemp cigarette. And you see that Dorothy feels Mustafa's fingers when she takes that cigarette. That hemp cigarette, is passed back and forth between Mustafa and Dorothy 6 times. Now, this is moments, literally 20 seconds before Julie Carey is telling us a look of fear, and she's telling they're arguing inside the vehicle. Wait a minute. Are you taking Julie Carey with NBC4? Are you taking Mustafa's dash camera out of context? Are you? Well,
100%.
100%. If you literally rewind this dash camera 20 seconds, you see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette. So how could you tell us they're arguing? You cut this dash camera. And if you want to tell us that the prosecutor didn't give it to you, well, now it's all over the internet. Why are you not updating the story? Let's watch what Julie Carey is telling us all over NBC4.
No. The look the dash cam video captures on Dorothy Fontaine's face is clearly one of fear in the seconds just before the crash. Her 5-year-old daughter, Empress, seated just behind her. The prosecutor telling the judge today a lip reader has analyzed the silent video and determined Fontaine is saying, no, Empress is in the car, as the vehicle veers left and into oncoming traffic. That was just one piece of evidence the prosecution presented to try to convince the judge that Mustafa Al-Jazeera is too dangerous to be given bond, arguing, quote, this is no different than a situation where you have someone shooting and killing 2 people. He used his vehicle as a weapon on April 5th, 2023 that resulted in the murder of 2 individuals.
Now we know. We just saw if you literally rewind this dash camera, literally 20 seconds, you see that Mustafa and Dorothy are actually passing a cigarette. So there is no argument
And
inside the vehicle.
if you rewind it another minute, he's at the gas station washing his car for 10 minutes. He's giving Empress, the 5-year-old, candy. Okay, he's buying cigarettes. He's filling up gas. So the narrative that this man planned on crashing his car, it just falls apart.
It falls apart because details keep coming up out of this case that the police department inspected Mustafa's vehicle and they found brake failure.
And we find out that there's no audio to this dash cam is because Chad Mason admits on the stand in October of 2024 that he tampered with the dash cam and it was not his job, violating chain of custody for the dash cam. And today they all of a sudden want to say, oh, there's no audio. Well, why did you not document that this dash cam did not have audio from day one? Why is it nowhere written on any of the police report? And the real reason is this dash cam does in fact have audio.
So we're litigating a dash camera that the officer
cut the audio,
cut and removed and cut the dash camera before impact. So that's what we're watching. Now, pieces of evidence keep coming up where the police department inspected Mustafa's vehicle and found brake failure. So not only are they passing back and forth a hemp cigarette inside the vehicle, that show there is no argument. Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time, and the police themselves inspect the vehicle and find brake failure. I want to take you to a body cam.
They admit to brake failure.
I want to take you.
I wonder why Julie Carey is not reporting on the fact that this car had brake failure, according to the police. But they buried that statement. They buried it. They sealed it so that no one can have access to it. But thanks to you, you stole that file. So now we see what police found when they inspected Mustafa's car, and they found brake failure.
And the question is,
that explains why when he's on the brake the entire time, the car would not stop. It's right there in the file.
This is a body cam where the police inspect Mustafa's vehicle and find brake failure. They find the front passenger and the back passenger brake caliper does not engage, doesn't work. So Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time, and the vehicle would not stop. So what we're going to do, we're going to watch this body cam, and we're going to go into Mustafa's EDR, the ACM, and it shows that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. And the question is, where is Julie Carey? I mean, we just watched Julie Carey talk about Mustafa and why Mustafa was denied bond and what the police department are telling us. This is a leaked file, and so far, Julie Carey, who was sitting in court yesterday, has not updated this community that there is brake failure.
Brake didn't engage.
Brake did not engage. Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time, and the vehicle would not stop because there is brake failure. This is Mustafa's EDR.
And then they document it. They say that there is brake failure, and they can't determine what the cause of the failure is. So they conceal his car, they conceal that report, and any expert that so far has gone up to the county, they've blocked them from inspecting the car. They've blocked them from getting the original data recorder information.
Well, unfortunately for them, I have the EDR, the data inside the vehicle, and it shows that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. Let's zoom in. This is Mustafa's foot on the brake the whole entire time.
That's crazy.
Did the investigator lie in his affidavit? What did he say in his affidavit? That Mustafa
took no evasive action to avoid an accident. I mean, what action do you expect other than hitting the brake and steering out of the way? What do you expect? And the truth is, no matter what Mustafa could have done that day, nothing was going to satisfy Drum, because they're going to find him guilty no matter what. Whether his blood is clean, whether he tried to avoid an accident, they're going to have to find him guilty no matter what. They've already condemned him guilty the moment they arrived on scene. I mean, the craziest thing is there's so much misconduct in this case. I mean, there's so much. Every piece of information, every piece of evidence that you look at has either been tampered with by police, they violated department policy, and the prosecutor is clearly covering up for misconduct. I mean, every step of the way. Witnesses tamper with by Drum. I mean, an officer literally telling witnesses, this is what I need you to say. Robert Drum swore an oath to a magistrate that 6 witnesses saw this car accident take place. They saw it. And then you look at the body cam, and every single witness out of those 6 witnesses, they all said, we never saw the car accident. We never saw it.
You know, I'll tell you something.
Every one of those 6.
I'll tell you something that's really interesting. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy in court told Judge Weimer that she has 6 witnesses, and all 6 witnesses are saying that Mustafa crashed the vehicle into oncoming traffic on purpose. Now, the body cam have been leaked, and all 6 witnesses,
they flat out
say we didn't see anything.
We didn't see it. We did not see it.
That's on body cam. Now, the bigger problem for Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, there's another witness that actually tell you that Mustafa cleared all the vehicle, made it to the 4th lane, and the SUV turned into Mustafa into the 4th lane. Now, hold on. You're charging Mustafa with murder. You're telling us that he crashed on purpose. We just watched a body cam that Mustafa's brake did not work. His foot is on the brake the whole entire time. And you're telling me that a witness says that Mustafa made it to the 4th lane, avoiding every vehicle in an SUV turned into Mustafa? But you, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, sealed that file. Let's watch. Why don't we watch the body cam with the witness that says Mustafa made it all the way to the 4th lane?
I mean, yesterday she was talking about her civilian witnesses no longer want to testify. Well, I mean, if somebody told me, the police told me, you can go in and say whatever you want on this case. I've sealed your initial statement. I've sealed it. So no one has access to it. We need you to get this guy off the street. When you go into trial, I need you to say that you saw this accident, even though you said you didn't see it initially. I've sealed that part. No one has access to it. Okay? If that witness today knows that their initial statement where they said, I never saw the accident, is gone public, I mean, they can't come in anymore. Why would you even need that person to come in if they can't lie anymore for you?
Let's watch what the witness has to say.
It's not surprising that these so-called witnesses don't want to come in and testify. Well,
can I get a
you exposed their initial statement.
Can I get a phone number for you, sir?
Yeah, it's 571-389-4540.
I'll let you work on that. Can I talk to you for a quick second over here? Can you just tell me what you saw?
Yeah, so the Chrysler over there was coming this way.
Which way? Sorry.
Coming this direction. We were going this direction. We had the green light. This car was in front of me. And I saw the Chrysler just randomly. He wasn't even in the turn lane. He just darted over directly in front of this car.
Okay.
And so she slammed him. I guess he made it far enough over that it hit the right.
He made it far enough over, and she slammed him. He made it all the way into the 4th lane, and she turned into him. You know, I'll tell you, the main investigator, I have a body cam that's sealed, that's now has been leaked. Robert Drum, what does Robert Drum say? He says the same exact thing.
He said the only way this car accident could make sense and why Mustafa's vehicle rotated is because she turned into him, and she slammed the rear passenger side of his car. That's the only way Mustafa's car could spin 3 times before going to the sidewalk, because she slammed the rear side of it.
Let's listen to what this witness has to say one more time. I want to listen to it one more time.
Darted over directly in front of this car.
Okay.
And so she slammed him. I guess he made it far enough over that it hit the right side. So she slammed him. I guess he made it far enough over that it hit the right side.
So the witness is telling you that Mustafa made it into the 4th lane, and the SUV turned into Mustafa into the 4th lane. Let's watch what Robert Drum, the main investigator, on a sealed body cam, tell us about how the accident happened.
What'd you think of this?
Trying to find where they spun.
Seems like, yeah. That's a smart play. It's a dead end. Hurts it, though.
Because the damage is on the right, which caused them to flip that way. So,
and then it finally broke off with soup.
So that's her.
They're coming in sideways.
Yep.
Gets popped, rotates.
And she just rolls backwards.
So here's the question: which way did they? Because she comes straight, she hits.
She would have turned into it.
She would have turned into him. The female SUV driver, she would have had to turn into him. Let's listen to that one more time.
Because she comes straight, she hits.
She would have turned into it.
Now, you've got the witness, you've got the main investigator, are all telling you that Mustafa cleared into the fourth lane. That the SUV turned into Mustafa. The SUV that her EDR show that she's over the speed limit, never hit the gas, she's on cruise control, and she's on some medication that she's not supposed to be driving. And she has a bunch of beads that are blocking her. She turned into the fourth lane and slammed into Mustafa. That's what the witness is telling you. That's what the main investigator is telling you. Now, we just heard the witness that the prosecutor is pretending doesn't exist. We've heard the main investigator that the prosecutor is sealing off his body cam when he's telling us how the accident happened. We just watched a body cam where the police inspected Mustafa's vehicle and they found a brake failure. We just saw the EDR, the computer inside Mustafa's vehicle, that showed Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. And the vehicle would not stop. This is Mustafa's toxicology that show Mustafa, no alcohol and no drugs in his system. And what they're actually smoking inside the vehicle, and this is the foundation of the whole entire case, that it's a hemp cigarette and there is no argument. They want to tell you they're arguing inside the vehicle, but we see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a hemp cigarette.
And you can see the initial warrants that were issued were all DUI warrants because the police were hoping that Mustafa was going to be under the influence. And when that blood work came back clean, they all of a sudden decided to switch up the narrative. Now we can't get him on DUI. We have to get him for something else. So what did they do? They began coaching witnesses. They began telling people, we need you to get this guy off the street. Initially, it was all DUIs. Okay, that was the theory of the police, that this guy is under the influence. It's got to be DUI. Let's get his blood illegally. They got his blood. They tested it. It was clean. So let's switch up the narrative. I mean,
this is literally a toxicology that we're looking at that shows no alcohol, blood alcohol non-detected, THC 0.003. No alcohol and no drugs in his system. And what they're smoking inside the vehicle, what they're passing back and forth, is a hemp cigarette. Dorothy, Mustafa's girlfriend, Dorothy Fontaine, has cancer and she smokes hemp. And that's what we see in the dash camera. They're passing back and forth. Based on the toxicology report, they're passing back and forth a hemp cigarette. And this is the foundation of the whole entire case. They're telling you that the police are telling you they're arguing inside the vehicle, but they seal off the dash camera. And then when we actually watch the full dash camera, moments before the accident, you see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette, a hemp cigarette. And I go back to the dash camera where literally Mustafa and Dorothy is, the way she grabs Mustafa's fingers when she takes that cigarette, she feels Mustafa's fingers. But Julie Carey wants to tell you that they're arguing inside the vehicle. She cuts the portion where they're passing back and forth a cigarette, and she tells you they're arguing inside the vehicle. Let's watch what Julie Carey is telling us about Mustafa now that we watched the dash camera, the part that they cut. Literally, if you remove it 20 seconds, we watched the cigarette being passed back and forth between Mustafa. Clearly, there is no argument. We saw the computer inside the vehicle that shows Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. The police inspected Mustafa's vehicle and found brake failure. The main investigator is telling you that Mustafa did everything he can. He made it to the fourth lane, avoiding an accident, and the SUV turned into Mustafa. The witness is telling you on body cam the same thing, that Mustafa made it to the fourth lane, avoiding an accident, and the SUV turned into Mustafa. Now let's watch what Julie Carey is telling us why Judge Weimer denied Mustafa a bond. What is it, last year?
Yeah,
sometime
2024.
2024. May of 2024. And is Julie Carey being honest about what's going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, or is she actively helping the police department lie about Mustafa? And the question is, if she's not, and she's honestly misled or doesn't have all the information, now there is a leak file. Why is she not updating the community?
She can verify the information today.
It's on the record.
Yeah.
Mustafa's lawyer yesterday put it on the record. Let's watch what Julie Carey is telling us about what's going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case and why the judge denied Mustafa May of 2024.
New at 5 tonight, a Prince William County judge has changed his mind about giving bond to a man charged with murder for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her little girl.
Prosecutors came to court armed with new details about the crime to persuade the judge to revoke the bond he set just last week. Only on 4, Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey reports prosecutors even hired a lip reader to figure out
a lip reader that now has been kicked off the case.
What the alleged victim was saying on silent dash cam video just before the fake.
Silent dash camera because the officer that handled Mustafa's dash camera,
Chad Mason,
said, I violated the chain of custody. I took possession of the dash camera. And today, without a warrant, and today we have a dash camera that has no audio and is cut before impact and has 17 frames missing from inside the vehicle. And digital forensics says, actually, there is audio.
And he said in court that the prosecutor told him there's no audio, even though he's the one that had the dash camera for 4 hours, tampering with it for 4 hours without a warrant, violating department policy and violating chain of custody.
So let me just
and the prosecutor tells him,
I'm in my office as a prosecutor. An officer that's handling the dash camera without a warrant.
I have the dash camera. I'm Chad Mason. I have the dash camera. And I'm going to call you, and you're going to instruct me.
Whatever you fucking do,
there's no audio.
Make sure
there's no audio
to remove the fucking audio. Is that what happened in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case?
Crazy.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, Mama wants up. Okay. I don't have the option to bring anybody up.
I mean, that is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The officer that's been mishandling the dash camera.
Hello, Casey. Hello, Tazlik. Hello, Ammar. Hello,
I want to thank
Habibi.
everybody for being here. I want to specifically thank the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari for being here.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Farah.
How y'all doing?
Hello,
Zulak, Nasser,
yeah, Ammar.
Casey, everybody that's here.
Ammar, we need everybody to participate about what's going on.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna
about what's going on yesterday inside the court.
Absolutely, this is what we're
Okay,
gonna do.
and there is Nasser. Nasser wants to participate. Nasser, do you have any question?
Yeah, I've been viewing the live for like the last week, and I noticed you guys are doing like AI, because I thought it was you for the first 4 days. I thought it was really you, but then I figured out it's an AI video, right?
Yes, we're gonna make it a story.
We partner up with an agency that's bringing every character to life. What's going on based on the transcript and based on the body cam that has now been leaked. They're turning and animating the whole story into a movie. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to follow what is going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case based on the transcript and the body cam that has been leaked.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I really thought it was you the whole time.
Well, you can tell. I mean, I'm not gonna believe that. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can tell what an AI looks like. You can tell if it's real, if it's not. Even the agency that we've lined up with is not. I mean, you can definitely tell different between an AI or real person.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys get justice, and because this is a messed up situation, and you guys need to sue Manassas for all this.
You know, I'll tell you something that's really interesting. The county is terrified, and they're really upset that we've partnered up with this agency that's now using AI to bring the characters into life. I find it really interesting. Yesterday, Judge Weimer is telling everybody, make sure there's no cell phones, no cameras, no recording. Absolutely, Judge. All I need is your picture.
Because they're trying to hide something.
The agency, well, I mean, absolutely, but the agency that we partnered up with, all they need is your picture, and they're taking the transcript,
and the transcript,
They're taking the transcript, they're taking the body cam, and they're bringing these characters to life. Now, the county is really upset because usually in a situation like this, you can file a defamation lawsuit. You can file a defamation lawsuit and get me to stop doing what I'm doing. In this case, they can't. And I'll tell you why they can't. Because discovery goes both ways. And if you file a defamation lawsuit against me, I'm going to have access into your cell phone, into your internal documents, into your internal email to prove my case, because discovery goes both ways. How does it feel? And how does it, you think the prosecutor wants me to have access?
The prosecutor's been doing it for 3 years now.
Judge Weimer literally says, I am on the phone with the previous attorney that I hired. Do you think he wants me to have access into his cell phone or emails? I mean, the judge is not going to file a defamation lawsuit. The prosecutor is not going to do it. And as a matter of fact, these individuals that are involved in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, the last thing they want is a defamation lawsuit that it goes both ways.
They've been defaming Mustafa and his family for 3 years.
Absolutely.
I mean,
so
it goes both ways.
It goes both ways, and we've taken this whole entire operation.
What is she now accusing you of following her to her car?
I mean,
that's defamation in and of itself.
The prosecutor, absolutely. The prosecutor is accusing me that I followed her into her car, that I'm following her. I mean,
she's trying to put out a narrative. She said, I bought a rifle and 1,000 rounds. You're following her to her car. She's saying that the mother is, I don't know, grabbing her cheeks. Like, if you have real concerns, sure, why not? But if you're just saying things just to defame somebody, I mean, if I went out today and said, the prosecutor is a wonderful individual, more power to her, she's not going to accuse me anymore.
Well, and
she's not going to make any accusations.
And to prove that point, Julie Carey is all over NBC4 talking about the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. That's a sealed case last time I checked. So why is it not okay for me to talk about it? But Julie Carey can say what? Oh, because Julie Carey is repeating the same lies that's coming out of the prosecution office.
I mean, look, the lawyer yesterday said in court on the record, she said, the officers made a determination about drugs, okay? Information that she has today, that there is no proof to this whole entire case. There is no proof other than statements from the officer of their theory. That's it. There's no evidence to support any of whatever is happening with Mustafa today. It's all based on statements of a theory by the officers. And she has that information, that she went through the whole entire file. And the only thing the court has is a statement of a theory. No witnesses, no evidence to back up any of the allegations, simply statements of a theory. That was said on the record. Julie Carey has an obligation to report what's being said in court. But Julie Carey is in the back pockets of the prosecutor. She's covering up for Amy Ashworth and her illiterate prosecutors. I mean, this prosecutor is so illiterate that she cannot litigate Mustafa's bond without her notes of lies. And she didn't have her notes of lies. Okay? So what does the judge do? The judge obviously is protecting an illiterate prosecutor. And he says, all of a sudden, I mean, abruptly says, I've heard enough. I'm denying bond. All of a sudden, just randomly. And what happened right before the judge said that? There was a pause when Sarah Sammy was supposed to give her side of why Mustafa should not get bond. It was her turn to say what her objections are to the defense attorney. There was a pause. The judge read the prosecutor's face and said, holy shit, she forgot her lies. She doesn't have her lies in front of her. So he says, abruptly, I've heard enough. And then for the first time, Judge Weimer leaves the courtroom before Mustafa is taken back to his cell. The judge just got up, closed his notebook, and walked away from the bench. I mean, I have never seen that happen. Every time it was the judge telling Mustafa, that's it, sheriff, take him away. But this time the judge simply closed his notebook, got up and walked away from the bench. I mean, that's just.
I'll tell you. He's hoping. This is what Judge Weimer is hoping.
I don't think he was happy about it, to be honest with you.
He's not happy because one, Mustafa's lawyer, for the first time, you have a lawyer that actually is willing to stand up to a county. And she laid it out in detail. She told Judge Weimer exactly what this prosecutor is lying about. That her whole entire case.
He's not happy that the prosecutor almost forced him to take that decision yesterday.
The judge has an obligation to hold the prosecutor accountable by telling her what is your evidence, because the burden falls on the prosecution, not Mustafa. The prosecutor is telling Judge Weimer that Mustafa threatened the correctional officer. Now, the Judge Weimer is hoping that Mustafa's lawyer is not going to file an appeal. That Mustafa's lawyer is not gonna go forward because that's what he's been used to. I mean, for the past 3 years, you have lawyers that have been compromised, that are not telling the court what is going on, and the burden doesn't completely fall on the judge. I mean, at the end of the day, these defense attorneys are not telling the court that this case is falsified. And for the first time, you have a lawyer that actually did that. Now, is Mustafa's defense attorney going to take it to the next level and put an appeal on the record, put an appeal and tell the judge, actually, Your Honor, I have evidence that this prosecutor lied about Mustafa threatening a correctional officer. I have a piece of evidence that there is a witness inside the court that will reverse your decision that Mustafa's bond has been, that you're not going to give Mustafa a bond.
So yesterday, the judge or the defense attorney is asking for 3 to 4 months.
Absolutely.
She's asking for 3 to 4 months so that she can be better prepared for this case, since she just received all the case documents. Okay. And I find it funny that the prosecutor in the last 2 hearings have constantly stood up in court and told the judge, Your Honor, I'm wondering if the defense is ready for trial, because she just came onto the case. She's trying to push this case even further because she knows she's got no case. So she wants to push it as far as she can. And yesterday, Mustafa's attorney requested that she gets 3 to 4 months to extend his trial for 3 to 4 months. And she noted on the record that Mustafa does not want to extend his trial date, but that she wants 3 to 4 months so that she can be better prepared. And she specifically told the judge that Mustafa is adamant about his trial date.
Well, Mustafa said it on the record. Mustafa on the record said that he's adamant about going to trial in March.
And the judge acknowledged that Mustafa is not trying to get a continuance, but that Mustafa is allowing his lawyer the 3 to 4 months so that she can be better prepared. Mustafa is willing to work with this attorney so that he can be better prepared. Now, the prosecutor stood up and she says, well, I don't know if I'm going to be ready in 3 to 4 months. And it's like, listen up here, prosecutor. By law, you have to give this man a trial within 5 months based on the law. You can't hold him for another year. You simply can't. If you charge somebody today with a felony, you have to give them trial. According to Virginia law, you have to give them trial in the next 5 months. If you can't do it, another prosecutor should take up the case, or you have to dismiss these charges.
One thing that I didn't like in what happened yesterday is when Judge Weimer asked Mustafa's lawyer, is because the lawyer asked the judge for a continuance because she's a new lawyer and she's just coming on the case. And she told him, he asked her, how long do you need? She told him, I need 4 months, just about 4 to 5 months, and I'll be ready. Judge Weimer asked her,
is this contingent? Go ahead. Contingent. Is this contingent based on bond? Basically saying, is this contingent upon giving him bond? So if I don't give him bond, what does that mean? Do you still want the continuance? The lawyer said, yes, I want a continuance for 3 to 4 months. But the prosecutor got up.
She said it's not contingent.
It's not contingent.
It's not contingent. And that's where the lawyer should have told Judge Weimer, it is contingent on my client staying in solitary confinement, going on 4 years And Mustafa has a presumption of innocence. You're innocent until proven guilty. And every piece of evidence show that they've lied in his case. So yes, Your Honor, this is contingent on whether you're going to give him bond.
It has to be contingent upon bond. If they're not willing to give him bond, I think he should go straight to trial. Okay, I don't think there should be any continuance because the prosecutor wants to claim that, oh, we're not ready. We don't have time. Listen, you're going to have to make time. In Virginia, the law is you have to give this man trial within 5 months. And if the defense is asking for a continuance, that date starts from the continued date. You have to give him a trial within 5 months.
What did Mark William, a previous attorney that was assigned to Mustafa's case, say about the prosecution?
It's not just Mark Williams. It's not just that lawyer. Every lawyer in Mustafa's case said that the prosecution is not ready for this case to go to trial because they've lied. They have no evidence. I mean, if you look at this case and why Mustafa's not getting bond, none of it has ever been related to this case. Every time he's went to bond, the prosecutor can't offer up anything related to this case to hold him from going to bond. Everything has been a lie. Every single proffer she's made has been a lie that has been debunked, and the prosecutor in a future bond has always changed the narrative. Every single time. I mean, the first lie was she said Mustafa was in a heated argument at the apartment. The moment you got the Google Nest videos that shows Mustafa and Dorothy were having a calm, pleasant conversation, leaving the apartment. Mustafa was cleaning the car before Dorothy got to it. The prosecutor changed the narrative. The moment that video hit the internet, she changed the narrative. Then she came up with Jason Nann's traumatic brain injury. Jason Nance came forward and said, I was never in the car with Mustafa. There was no accident. I don't know what this police officer is saying. I never said that. The prosecutor has never repeated that lie again. Okay? Now it's all these videos, all this evidence coming out to show that the police flat out lied. They've changed witnesses' information. And by the way, there are no witnesses because Mustafa, Dorothy, and Empress were the only ones in the car. So what witnesses are you bringing? Everybody else has everything they've ever said. It's considered hearsay under the law.
The fact of the matter is the prosecution are not ready and will never be ready because they falsified a whole entire case. Now, what I want to do, I want to play what Julie Carey aired out on NBC4 May of 2024 and really hammered the point home. Why did Judge Weimer deny bond May 2024? And why did he deny bond yesterday? And what are the options for the defense? The fact that there is a piece of evidence that show the prosecution is lying about Mustafa. There's a CCTV video that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. There is an audio recording on the record of a witness that came forward that said Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. It's the other way around. Now, I want to, before I play,
by the way, that's major information for reconsideration of bond. That's major information. Witness coming forward, CCTV video showing that the incident that the prosecutor lied about to deny Mustafa bond, that information is major for a reconsideration of bond. Especially the fact that the other point was the lip reader, and Judge Weimer himself kicked off this lip reader and said, in Virginia, in the United States, lip readers are not credible. They have never been used in any case. It's not case law, and I will not make new law for you, prosecutor. So he kicked them out.
New at 5 tonight, a Prince William County judge has changed his mind about giving bond to a man charged with murder for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her little girl.
Prosecutors came to court armed with new details about the crime to persuade the judge to revoke the bond he set just last week. Only on 4, Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey reports, prosecutors even hired a lip reader to figure out what the alleged victim was saying on silent dash cam video just before the fatal crash. We warn you, some of what you're about to see is disturbing.
No.
The look the dash cam video captures on Dorothy Fontaine's face is clearly one of fear in the seconds just before the crash. Her 5-year-old daughter, Empress, seated just behind her. The prosecutor telling the judge today a lip reader has analyzed.
A lip reader that has now been kicked off
Kicked off the case.
So is the theory of the prosecution falling apart? Absolutely. Is that a major reason to reconsider the bond that Mustafa was denied? Absolutely.
The silent video and determined Fontaine is saying no, Empress is in the car as the vehicle veers left and into oncoming traffic.
Is there a body cam where the police inspected Mustafa's vehicle and found brake failure? Is there a EDR that shows Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time and the vehicle would not stop because the police inspected the vehicle and found brake failure? Why is Julie Carey not telling us that there's brake failure, that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time, that there's a witness that says Mustafa made it and avoided every vehicle, made it to the 4th lane to avoid a vehicle accident, and an SUV turned into the 4th lane? Why is Julie Carey not telling us that there's a body cam where the main investigator is telling us that Mustafa cleared every vehicle, made it to the 4th lane, and that an SUV turned into Mustafa?
An SUV, by the way, that was speeding, that was on cruise control, and that turned into the lane over where Mustafa had cleared her. I mean, that's major information.
One piece of evidence the prosecution presented to try to convince the judge that Mustafa Al-Jazeera is too dangerous to be given bond, arguing, quote, "This is no different than a situation where you have someone shooting and killing 2 people. He used his vehicle as a weapon on April 5th, 2023 that resulted in the murder of 2 individuals." Al-Jazeera's defense attorney contends his client was trying to pass a car, ran out of room at the intersection, and panicked. He rejects the suggestion the video or the crash victim's words show Al-Jazeera would be dangerous if freed on bond.
It states nothing about whether or not the deceased thought my client was doing it intentionally. It states that as she sees oncoming danger, her first thought is, oh no, my daughter is in the car.
Prosecutors also called the crash scene investigator to testify to support their theory that the crash was intentional. Sergeant Chad Mason says there were no skid marks at the scene, only light braking.
Let me show you something really quick. He says there were no skid marks, right?
The same Chad Mason, by the way, that admitted to violating police department policy and procedure, admitted to taking Mustafa's dash camera and tampering with it for 4 hours, before it was given to digital forensics 2 weeks after he tampered with it. I mean, let that sink in. A police officer who takes digital evidence, manipulates it, and then 2 weeks later is given to the proper department.
This is a body cam. This is exactly the same officer that cut and mute Mustafa's dash camera is testifying in a bond hearing that there is no skid marks, that there is no brake. Mustafa never hit the brake. Well, why do I have a body cam that the main investigator on scene in a sealed body cam says all these are Mustafa's skid marks?
Skid marks.
Let's watch.
Did you have skid from him?
Yeah, so that's all him. He spun twice.
He spun twice. That's all him. Yet on the media, they want to say light skid marks.
Let's watch that one more time. I mean,
by the way,
obligation.
What is light skid marks? Like what? They're not dark enough for you?
Wait a minute. I mean, we saw that Mustafa's
How dark do you want those skid marks to be for you to say, oh yeah, he was trying to avoid an accident?
Well, hold on now. That's Mustafa's EDR, the computer inside Mustafa's vehicle. And Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. Mustafa is hitting the brake, trying to stop the vehicle.
He says light skid marks. Well, let's analyze the data from the other vehicle that recorded for 5 seconds prior to impact. She was on cruise control, which means she was hitting the gas all the way up to impact. What does that mean? What does that mean? She's not paying attention. She did not look past her windshield. Okay? She did not look past her windshield. What did Investigator Davis say to the other driver? He said, ma'am, you have nothing to worry about. Then he went to the police impound and removed the big rosary beads that she had on her rearview mirror. According to them, it was an active investigation. And what did they do? They removed an item from an active investigation scene, from an active piece of evidence that was being investigated. Davis went and removed the rosary beads from the SUV. Was it obstructing her view? Who knows? We'll never know because Rob Davis went and tampered with the scene of the accident.
I mean, when you watch this after you watch what's leaking out of Mustafa's file, clearly they're lying about Mustafa. Clearly, Julie Carey is not updating this community, because once you do, you're going to put the police department in bad light. That, hey, a police department, officers within this police department, a prosecution office that used officers that falsified the whole entire case. Let's watch that one more time, knowing that there's a body cam where Robert Drum, the main investigator, says all these are his skid marks.
Prosecutors also called the crash scene investigator to testify to support their theory that the crash was intentional. Sergeant Chad Mason says there were no skid marks at the scene, only light braking, and that the heavy damage was all on the passenger side. Al Jazeera's attorney says that evidence actually supports his case.
I believe the testimony of the witness supports directly our theory, which is that he was trying to maintain control, which is what you would want to try to do if you are in a desperate, dangerous situation with your vehicle.
Actually, the damage is not on the passenger side.
It's on the rear.
It's a
passenger fender.
Let me pull up what Robert Drum on the scene. This is a body cam of the main investigator. So this is the vehicle at the scene. This is the vehicle at the scene.
Let me get this real quick.
Yeah, sounds good. This is what they've done to the vehicle. This is what they've done to the vehicle inside the police department. The police department crushed and staged Mustafa's vehicle. So we go into a body cam where the main investigator is telling you where was Mustafa's vehicle impacted. And he tells you it's in the back quarter panel of Mustafa's vehicle. What did we hear Chad Mason on NBC4 tell us? That the damage was on the passenger, and he testified to that. He testified that the damage was on the passenger, the front passenger, and the back passenger. Here we have a body cam that the damage is in the back quarter panel of the vehicle. That would mean, even if you were, for the sake of argument, say there is no brake failure, that Mustafa's foot was not on the brake the whole entire time, that there isn't a witness that says Mustafa cleared the vehicle into the fourth lane and the SUV turned into him. That even if you were to avoid the body cam where the main investigator says Mustafa cleared all the vehicle, made it to the fourth lane, and the SUV turned into the fourth lane, the prosecutor have to, beyond a reasonable doubt, tell us that Mustafa intentionally crashed the vehicle. Now, if you're telling us that Mustafa didn't make it to the fourth lane, but here we have a vehicle where it was hit. I mean, when you look at Mustafa's vehicle, Mustafa was impacted by the SUV in the rear quarter panel of his vehicle. That would mean that Mustafa may, even if you take the argument out of the prosecution office, that would mean that half of his vehicle made it into the fourth lane. That would mean he's trying to avoid a vehicle accident. If you were to avoid and now look at any piece of evidence in this case that Mustafa made it into the fourth lane and the SUV made it into Mustafa, the fact that the vehicle was impacted in the quarter panel of Mustafa's vehicle shows that Mustafa is trying to avoid a vehicle accident. You have to prove that Mustafa, beyond a reasonable doubt, intentionally crashed the vehicle, was not avoiding an accident. I mean, the accident, the impact is in the quarter panel of the back of Mustafa's vehicle. That would mean Mustafa cleared half of his vehicle, according to the prosecutor. And then when you look at all the pieces of evidence, according to the investigator himself, Mustafa cleared into the fourth lane and the SUV turned into Mustafa. Let's watch what investigator Robert Drum is telling us, where did the SUV impact Mustafa's vehicle?
see the perfect imprint from the Suburban.
The perfect imprint from the Suburban. The Suburban that impacted and hit Mustafa is right there. The back quarter panel of Mustafa's vehicle. What did they tell us? I mean, Chad Mason, when you read the transcript of what he said in court during Mustafa's bond hearing, he said that Mustafa never cleared any of the vehicle, and the vehicle, the SUV, hit him head on into Mustafa's front passenger and Mustafa's back passenger. That Mustafa never cleared the vehicle. Well, here we're watching that the SUV actually impacted the back quarter panel of Mustafa's vehicle. That would mean, even by the standard in the argument of the prosecutor, Mustafa cleared half of the vehicle into the fourth lane. That's by the prosecutor, if you take the argument out of the prosecution office. But once you start looking at the evidence, you'll realize the main investigator, the witness are telling you that Mustafa cleared into the fourth lane and the SUV turned into Mustafa. The evidence showed that the police inspected Mustafa's vehicle and they found brake failure. That Mustafa's foot, the computer inside the vehicle, showed that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. Let's go back to the news and watch what the news is telling us.
Prosecutors also called the crash scene investigator to testify to support their theory that the crash was intentional. Sergeant Chad Mason says there were no skid marks at the scene, only light braking, and that the heavy damage was all on the passenger side. Al Jazeera's attorney says that evidence actually supports his case.
I believe the testimony of the witness supports directly our theory, which is that he was trying to maintain control, which is what you would want to try to do if you are in a desperate, dangerous situation with your vehicle.
This is Julie Carey telling you that two reasons why the judge denied Mustafa's bond is because a lip reader who's now being kicked off the case, and that the prosecutor is alleging that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer inside the jail. With no evidence. She never gives out the evidence. And then you find in the file a CCTV video, a witness that tell you that prosecutor is lying about Mustafa. Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer.
The information that seemed to influence the judge the most, though, the prosecutor said that Mustafa al-Jazeera had threatened a jail deputy. The information that seemed to influence the judge the most, though, the prosecutor said that Mustafa al-Jazeera had threatened a jail deputy, saying he knew her address and would come find her if released. The judge revoking the $5,000 bond he'd set a week ago. Al-Jazeera's family, who's been keeping vigil outside the jail, disappointed with the judge's ruling and questioning the allegations of a jail threat.
It doesn't make sense that Mustafa would make a threat. He's going to say, I'm going to be found innocent, only to come out and commit another crime. That just doesn't make any sense.
Al-Jazeera's attorney now deciding whether to appeal. In Prince William County, I'm Julie Carey. News.
So what we're going to do, we have to go into the evidence that showed that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. And this prosecutor simply lied about Mustafa. And unfortunately, yesterday, the CCTV video was not put on the record. The recording, the CCTV video that showed that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer, specifically Officer Jessica Salez. It shows that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. And there is a witness that came forward, another inmate that saw the whole thing, and tell you on the record that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. Now, some will tell you, and I've heard this argument before, well, this is an inmate, and inmates lie. You can't use them as witnesses. Well, actually, that inmate has now been acquitted. He's been found innocent. He's been acquitted of his charges. This is a recording on the record. This inmate, who's been found innocent, who's been acquitted of all charges, on the record is telling you that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. Yesterday, it was really sad that Judge Weimer didn't hold the prosecutor accountable because the burden falls on the prosecution. Mustafa is innocent, is presumed innocent, and the burden doesn't fall on Mustafa, it falls on the prosecutor. The prosecutor is alleging that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. She has to show the evidence. Yesterday, it was the prosecutor's word against the lawyer. And it should have been
we just want to follow up to see.
I mean, this is a disturbing recording that I was just sent that tells you, and I mean, we can go into how the first attorney, when the file was sealed, and what he was telling us, and how the police department crushed and staged the vehicle, and they wanted to, the reason they crushed and staged Mustafa's vehicle is because they wanted to make it look like a head-on collision. And because I stole the file from the county, I've leaked it, now you can see that this is not, and they staged a whole entire accident, that this is a car accident.
Did you get that?
I just got it. Now, what I wanted to go through is, do you want to listen to that real quick?
Just listen to it real quick. And
Okay.
It's going to show you what the police were attempting to do in Mustafa's case initially. That's what they told the attorney.
Let's listen to him.
I mean, they chopped his car. You should pull up a picture of his car before they cut it and after they cut it. And that picture is going to tell you the story of where they were going with this case initially.
So let's pull up Mustafa's vehicle at the scene.
I don't know if you have that picture with the one on top, the one on the bottom. You have it?
I do. Talking about that. Talking about this.
Yeah, that one.
This is Mustafa's vehicle at the scene. And initially, Robert Drum lied to
the defense attorney. That was the narrative that they were going with. You should just play the audio. I mean, the audio speaks for itself.
Well, I think before we play the audio, I think there's a body cam that he's telling, where Robert Drum is telling Casey Stevens why the vehicle went from this to this.
Well, yeah, I mean, the audio tells you
And
that.
he's
going to tell you exactly what the police told him.
Okay,
He's
all right.
explaining to us what the police told him about why the car looks the way it does, why the roof has been removed. And they're alleging that the damage to Mustafa's car, the fender damage, was from the accident. That's what they're alleging, that cut on the fender was from the car accident. They want to say it was a head-on collision. I mean, just listen.
Briefly, we're going to go into, and then we're going to have a whole entire podcast.
Listen to it, and then next time we'll
continue.
We'll pick up from that. And this is Casey Stevens that we paid $45,000 to, and then paid him an additional $5,000 to bring in a crash reconstructionist to go in and examine Mustafa's car. I mean, this is what they're telling Casey Stevens. This is what they're telling Mustafa's accident reconstructionist, the one that he hired, that was supposed to look at this car from an unbiased point of view and give a report based on his findings. This is what they're telling him. They've already chopped up the car, and that's what they're going to tell him.
Okay. We just want to follow up to see,
Okay. Let me explain how it works.
Okay.
So
can you hear it?
To
it's good.
the vehicle, and you saw the pictures, which pretty much memorializes how everything came down. You know, they folded it down to this fucking box.
Yeah.
It was all wrapped up. They set it down so he could then examine it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The doors and the roof had been removed as part of the rescue efforts.
Okay.
Which is why they're all separated. You saw the door on his side. It's got a dent in it.
Yeah.
However, the damage is rather extreme on the passenger side of the vehicle.
Okay.
You saw from the front end
Listen
of
to
the
this part.
car where the Suburban first made contact with the 300.
Uh-huh.
It's got to be 18 inches maybe from the front. And then you see what happened to the Suburban and all of its.
Okay, pause it right there.
I mean,
do you have a picture of Mustafa's driver's side when they cut it?
Let's see if I can pull it up for you.
Just get it off here.
You're talking about the fender when they chopped it up? I think I do, yeah.
I mean, it's on my other phone. Unfortunately, I have to have like 6 phones for this case.
I think I can pull it up for you. I think we're talking about this picture. Let's see. Yep, got it.
Is that before they cut it?
No, you're talking about this picture then. This picture.
Okay, yeah. Can you zoom in on that? Zoom in on that driver fender.
Yeah.
And then maybe just snapshot it and then go to the other one.
Okay.
Okay, so you see that driver fender perfectly intact, and play Casey Stevens audio.
You want to play it again? Okay.
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Sir. Just towards like, I mean, it's 1 minute, so right there.
Which is why they're all separated. You saw the door on. Okay. The doors and the roof had been removed as part of the rescue efforts.
Okay.
Which is why they're all separated. You saw the door on his side. It's got a dent in it.
Yeah. Pause it.
However, the dent.
Zoom out a little bit. Okay. You see the door frame. There's no dent.
There's no
in
dent.
the door frame. Okay. There's no damage to the driver fender. Now continue it.
Damage is rather extreme on the passenger side of the vehicle.
Okay.
You saw from the front end of the car where the Suburban first made contact with the 300. It's got to be 18 inches maybe from the front. And then you see what happened to the Suburban and all of its damage is on the right-hand side.
Yeah. So he wants to say that the damage to Mustafa's side, about 18 inches from the front, that would put you at the driver fender. 18 inches is about, 1.5 feet from the front. There's damage to Mustafa's vehicle where he says that the Suburban first made contact with Mustafa's car. There's damage to Mustafa's driver's side, the door frame and the driver fender from where the Suburban first made contact. Now we're looking at Mustafa's car. There's no damage to the door frame. There's no damage to the driver fender. Now go to the they chopped it up.
You mean he's telling you part of the extraction effort? Everybody's
Part
already
of the rescue effort.
Everybody's already out of the vehicle. Mustafa and his family.
There's nobody in that car. The roof is still there.
That's on the scene.
That's on the scene. There's no damage to the driver fender. There's no damage to the driver door. Okay? There's no damage at all on the driver's side. Okay? But Casey Stevens wants to tell us that the damage on the driver's side was when the Suburban and the Chrysler first made contact, insinuating this is a head-on collision. Now we look at after the fire department came out to the impound days later. Okay, now zoom in on that driver fender.
This is the vehicle.
Okay, I mean look at that. That's at the impound. There's no damage to the fender on Mustafa's side. There's no damage to the driver door frame. Okay, but Casey Stevens wants to tell us that, he's relaying what the police department's narrative is at the time.
There's a picture where they cut the fender and bent the...
After they chopped it up.
Hang on, give me a minute, okay? Let me find it. If you have it, let me know.
I know I have it on my other phone. Actually, here.
You have it?
Yeah, I found it. I think this is it.
I mean, this is one of them. This is one of them. Look at this.
I
got it.
I have a video of it. I mean, like.
I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at Mustafa's driver fender. I mean, they're turning a vehicle accident into a head-on collision.
Yeah, exactly. They're turning a T-bone accident. His car was struck on the rear passenger fender. The other car never made contact with the front end of his vehicle, and they actively called the fire department to chop up the car in specific locations to make it look like this is a head-on collision.
They chop up the roof.
You're in solitary confinement. You're never going to verify what the car looked like initially. You're never going to verify what the car looked like when it was towed to the impound. All you have to do is go by what they tell you, okay? And Casey Stevens accidentally sent me all the photos from the discovery that showed the car before they cut it, when the car was initially towed to the police impound, and then after the fire department came out and chopped it up in specific locations, okay? Now,
I mean, they want to tell you it's part of the rescue effort.
Part of
that
rescue
because they were removing Mustafa and his family, rescuing Mustafa and his family. That's why the vehicle ended up how it ended up. No, they're staging the vehicle.
I mean, pull up that video I just sent you. That video
I
shows you.
don't have memory on this iPad.
It's on TikTok.
Oh,
I'd send you a link.
Okay, all right.
Wait, maybe I have to send it to your.
But they're staging the vehicle. I mean, they're actively taking an accident, a vehicle accident, where Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time. And there's a brake failure where they found brake failure and they're turning it into, they're staging the vehicle. Didn't come through. You sure you sent it?
Yeah, actually, if you go on my TikTok, you'll see it.
Okay, all right, let me do that.
Let me see if I can pin it to the top.
Changing around.
Mustafa was going to be guilty.
Unredacted files.
No, civil injustice.
No matter what.
Here, let me pin it to the top. Okay, it should be on top. You can remove the audio. Just unmute it. Okay, there you go.
All right, there you go. This is the SUV. I mean, does that look like a head-on collision by the SUV? How could it be a head-on collision? I mean, they want to tell you that Mustafa didn't make it to the fourth lane and the SUV slammed head-on into Mustafa in the third lane. Well, how is it that the driver corner of the vehicle, the front is still intact? Still intact.
I mean, the hood is sharp as a pin on the SUV on the driver's side.
Well,
okay. If Mustafa was crossing her path, think about it. If Mustafa was crossing her path and she continued in her lane, then there would be damage all across her front end. But the fact that she turned over into the adjacent lane where Mustafa had cleared her. That's why you see damage on her passenger side only. That's why you see the front end of the driver's side on her car is fully intact. Okay? There's only damage to her right passenger side. And then Mustafa's car has no damage on the front end. Okay, you're going to see photos of Mustafa's car. I mean,
that's the SUV.
That's the SUV. Look how straight it is. And look at Mustafa's car. Okay, the headlight is still there. Okay, the hood is straight. There's no damage to the fenders. The only thing that you can see out of Mustafa's car is that his bumper flew off. Just the bumper cover, the plastic portion, flew off because of the severity of the impact. When his car spun around, the bumper came off. But the bumper, the plastic piece, is fully intact on the side of the road. Okay? And Prince William County Police came out to specifically chop up Mustafa's driver fender. They dented his door frame. They cut off the passenger fender, and they dented the passenger front door. And they completely removed the roof.
This is a really interesting comparison.
I mean, exactly. This is before they chopped it up. Okay, clearly they cut off his driver door, which, by the way, I don't understand the reasoning of cutting his door when all police reports and body cams show Mustafa was already out of the vehicle. According to Andrew Margiotta, the first police officer who was a DC officer who happened to be driving that way, shows that Mustafa was pulled out of the car by bystanders, and they still cut up his door.
Look, let's really look at why. Let's really ask the question: why would you dent Mustafa's vehicle right there, and at the front bumper?
And by the way, the
only reason you would dent Mustafa's vehicle is because you want to turn it into a head-on collision.
Look,
you want to say because of the head-on collision impact that the frame was bent here and there.
By the way, if you look at that cut on the fender, that's not a clean slice cut. It's not like they used a clean saw to just slice through it to make it look like, oh yes, we cut it here. No, it looked like they tore the metal. That's not a clean cut. They want to say this is a head-on collision. Mustafa's front end made contact with the front end of the Chevy Suburban. That's what they want to tell you. And it's not speculation that that's what they want to tell you, because you just heard audio from Casey Stevens. You should play the audio again.
Let's play the
what
audio.
He says, 18 inches from the front of Mustafa's car is where the SUV first made contact with Mustafa's Chrysler.
All right, let's play the audio one more time.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The doors and the roof had been removed as part of the rescue efforts.
Okay.
Which is why they're all separated. You saw the door on his side. It's got a dent in it.
Yeah.
However, the damage is rather extreme on the passenger side of the vehicle.
Okay.
You saw from the front end of the car where the Suburban first made contact with the 300.
Uh-huh.
It's got to be 18 inches maybe from the front. And then you see what happened to the Suburban, and all of its damage is on the right hand.
It's got to be 18 inches from the front of the car, of the Chrysler 300. There's no damage to the 18 inches. Only damage that they've caused.
That's the vehicle at the police department.
That's the vehicle at the police department.
And that's what they've done to him. I mean, they're actively changing.
You want to talk about destroying evidence? They've destroyed the evidence in Mustafa's car. And I tell you today, you can get 1,000 accident reconstructionists. They will never be able to examine that car the way it was at the scene of the accident, because the police destroyed that car. They've destroyed it. No expert is going to come in and gather any new information other than to tell you the police destroyed this piece of evidence and it's not justified. It's 100% not justified. They're not justified in damaging the car. And they told the first attorney it was part of the rescue efforts. That was a lie. And when they got caught in a lie, today they want to say we destroyed Mustafa's car because we were trying to get out the EDR. My question to them is, did you also destroy the Chevy Suburban when you were extracting the EDR?
Obviously not.
Obviously not, because their plan is to exclude it completely from the case. So there's no reason for them to chop it up or to destroy it. because they don't plan on showing that car to the jury. They want to show Mustafa's car that they've cut off the roof, they've damaged it completely, all around, they chopped it up and staged it for a jury.
In the file, there is a body cam.
And that's illegal.
There is a body cam where Robert Drum is blocking the independent expert that was supposed to come out and inspect the vehicle, and he's telling him, Sarah Sammy says you cannot touch the vehicle.
You can only scan it.
There's a judge order.
You can only scan what we damaged. Your scanner can scan what we've staged for you, but you can't go in and identify what this brake failure is, because they don't want anybody to know what the cause of the brake failure is. They won't tell you what the cause of the brake failure is. They'll just say, there's brake failure, we don't know what the cause of it is, and we won't allow anybody else to come in and inspect it.
Look, not only did they block the independent expert from touching the vehicle, and they told him you can only take pictures of it. And what apparently they've done is they removed the original Faro scan, because originally at the scene, the police department, the crash investigators, took pictures and
Drum says he scanned the car with his Faro computer.
So where is the Faro scan from Mustafa's file?
They've got to turn it over. They have to turn it over. It's Brady material, because it's information that's going to show Mustafa was avoiding a vehicle accident. His car was T-boned from the rear. That's what it's going to show. That's Brady material.
So on the next podcast, we're going to go into details of what the police department did, what they've done. They removed the original scan. And on body cam, you see them blocking the independent expert after they crushed and staged the vehicle. And they want him to have a new Faro scan.
From a staged vehicle.
From a staged vehicle. And they want, and now, in a motion that the prosecutor filed, she wants to take the jury to the vehicle and show them the extensive damage of the vehicle after they crushed it.
That's not going to happen. It's against the law. You've crushed and staged this car. You can no longer show it to the jury because it's not original evidence. It's evidence that you've staged for this case to make it match your narrative. And you've been figured out. You've been caught in a lie. And we'll see what the next coming days are going to uncover.
We're going to go into details into what they've done to Mustafa's vehicle and how the police department crushed and staged Mustafa's vehicle. Now, we're coming up to ending the podcast. But before we end the podcast, what I want to do, I want to share with everybody, I want to share with our co-host a piece of evidence that was not litigated in Mustafa's bond reconsideration yesterday, which is a witness that came forward and said Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. Now, I'm not going to play the whole entire thing. We'll play it on the next podcast, because what we're going to do, we're going to go through the whole recording, and we're going to go through a CCTV video that they're terrified that I got my hand on, because now it has to be on the record. You want to say that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer? Let's look at the evidence. That's what the prosecutor is telling you. Well, the evidence show, no, Mustafa was beaten up inside the jail, and he never threatened a correctional officer. Now, my question to the defense, did you know, Mustafa's lawyer, did you know that prosecutor Sarah Sammy is hiding exculpatory evidence from you? What am I talking about? In the file, when you open Mustafa's file, you'll see a CCTV video of April 5th, 2024. Did you know that the incident actually doesn't start at 10:14 and 56 seconds? Actually, the incident starts at 9:30. Why is it that the CCTV video that's been provided to you by the prosecution office only starts at 10:14? I'll tell you why, and that's exculpatory evidence that they're hiding from you, because they don't want to show what actually happened in jail. The witness tell you that Mustafa was beaten up. The officer barged into his cell and beat him. This CCTV video shows you after the fact, and it shows you that there is no threat. But where is the incident, the full video? Is that not exculpatory evidence for your case, for your client that you're fighting for to have him get a bond? The prosecution is hiding the full CCTV video that starts at 9:15. Let's listen to what Officer Fenner, who was conducting the hearing, that listened from Mustafa and that brought in this witness on the record testified that what happened inside the jail that Mustafa never threatened a correctional officer. It's the other way around. What does Officer Fenner tell us? He says that the incident starts at 9:30. So why is it you don't have a CCTV video? And how could you prove your case if you don't have the exculpatory evidence that the prosecutor is hiding from you? Let's briefly listen to Officer Fenner, who conducted that hearing.
Are you muted it from here?
The misconduct number is 24-0. Today's date is 4/9/2024. The time is 11:31. Having a DAR hearing for inmate Al Jazari, first name Mustafa, jail number 23-00808. The misconduct number is 24-0406-613. Mr. Al Jazari, he was written up on a major violation, 24, unacceptable behavior. You have the right to remain silent, a right to present witness, a right to a staff advisor, and a right to appeal any decision of the board to superintendent within 5 working days. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, sir, I understand. And I have a witness right next door in cell 11. His name is Lamar McNeil.
Okay, we'll call for your witness in a few. Do you wish to be represented by a staff advisor?
Yes, please.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and pause the recording, get your staff advisor, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll proceed.
Yes, sir.
We're going to go ahead and proceed with the hearing. You met with the staff advisor, correct?
That's Brian Pittman, and all he did was just read the paragraph that's sitting right there in the piece of paper that you're holding.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I'm First Sergeant Fenner. This is Sergeant Cruz, and then this is Officer Wilson.
Ms. Wilson.
All right. I'll read the narrative. After I read the narrative, I ask you how do you wish to plead, whether you're guilty or not guilty, then you can give me your side of the story.
So Officer Fenner is going to read the narrative of what they're alleging against Mustafa. Now, you just heard Mustafa tell Officer Fenner, I would like to call a witness, an inmate inside the jail, Lamar McNeil. And you cannot tell me that, inmates are not reliable to testify. This is an inmate that was acquitted and found innocent.
He was an eyewitness.
He was not only an eyewitness, an eyewitness that was acquitted from all charges and has now been released and is found innocent.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll pause the tape and call for your witness.
Okay, sounds real good.
All right.
Yes, sir.
On Friday, April the 5th, 2024, I, Officer Salas, was assigned to Unit 19 Depot at approximately 0930 hours.
At approximately 9:15. So why is it that the CCTV video given to the defense starts at 10:14 and 56 seconds? Are they hiding? Is the prosecution hiding exculpatory evidence from the defense?
I mean, the interesting thing is they used this incident to deny him bond. And then when they went to the evidence to show what happened that day, they're like, oh shit, if we use this incident, we're going to show that our officers actually assaulted him that day. They actually beat him up that day. So what do? They cut off the video that does not match their narrative. And they think that, well, we'll just submit a video, whatever video. I mean, you allege the incident happened at 9:15. Why won't you give the video to support your narrative?
Well, because the witness tell you the correctional officer actually went in
and
beat him up. Let's hear from the witness.
No threats whatsoever. It was just only the whole issue was just from the electric razors.
Yes, sir.
He ran in the cell, took everything, and I'm laughing too, because I'm like, what did he didn't do nothing wrong. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, they came and gave him all his stuff back.
Came back 10 minutes later.
10 minutes later, if you look.
Let's listen.
They came back 10 minutes later to give him all his stuff back.
Let's listen from Lamar McNeil. What did he just say? He said, let's listen to what he actually go into detail.
By the way, what is the whole basis of this whole incident? He called the officer by her first name. He called the officer by her first name because they've been constantly ignoring him for over an hour. He called the officer by her first name. She got upset. She told her supervisor. Supervisor came in and said, you can't call my officer by her first name. So what do? They go in and beat him up, take all his belongings, and then they think about it. They're like, oh shit, he didn't really do anything, and we just beat him up. Give him his stuff back. And that's according to a witness, by the way. That's according to eyewitness.
And when he came, then this sergeant was like, don't be calling my officer's name and stuff. Like, what's wrong with not calling the officer's name if nobody's going to answer the intercom? So if nobody's going to answer the intercom, then you're going to acknowledge the officer by calling their name and stuff. Well, this sergeant said, well, if you keep calling my CO's name and stuff, running yourself, take everything out. When he said that, I was like, that's not even a damn rule of like, that's not breaking no rule or whatever by calling an officer, acknowledging who they are to ask a question or whatever. So when he was like, it didn't care that like if you want to run it myself for for me calling the officer's name, that's not breaking no rule or whatever. He said, open the cell door, open the cell door. So being that he knew that it wasn't breaking no rule and stuff, the sergeant basically was looking to trying to do a bully move. So the bully move was open.
They're bullying Mustafa.
Cell up.
They go in, they beat him. How dare you call my officer by her first and last name? I'm going to go in and beat the fuck out of you. Isn't that what they're doing? According to the eyewitness assessment? According to, and that goes into why are they not releasing the full CCTV video at where the incident happened. The incident, according to Officer Finner, starts at 10:14. At 9:30. Officer Fenner tells you that the incident started at 9:30. The prosecution is hiding exculpatory evidence from the defense because it's going to show the whole entire story that Mustafa is the one that was beaten up by correctional officers. That they went in, beat him. What do we have here? What do we see here? At 10:14, all his items are outside his cell. That's all Mustafa's items. That's Mustafa's cell right there. And you're going to see that Fenner is going to tell you that at 10, let's go back into Fenner. Fenner tells you that at 10:14, well, let's listen to Fenner. And he's going to tell us at what time Correctional Officer Jessica Salaz says that Mustafa threatened her. And we're going to go into the CCTV video. And what we're going to see is that Jessica Salaz is interacting with Mustafa. Normal. It's a normal interaction. She's giving Mustafa his items. She has the door wide open and continued to give Mustafa his items, her and the other officers, where it shows there is no threat. If I was a correctional officer, if I'm being threatened by this inmate, what does she say? She's claiming that Mustafa says, I'm going to be released on a bond. I'm going to come out. I know where you live. If that's what really happened, why does Jessica Salaz is seen on CCTV video? This is Officer Jessica Salaz. At 10:24, this is where they have Mustafa's cell open. This is Officer Chen. Officer Chen goes up to Mustafa's door. This is at 10:21. He goes up to Mustafa's door. He has the door open. And this is Jessica Salaz coming up to Mustafa's door, wide open, and you see them giving Mustafa his items back after they beat the fuck out of Mustafa. They go in at 9:30, beat the fuck out of Mustafa for what? Oh, you called my officer by her first and last name. Gonna go in and teach you not to fucking do that again. What did you do? Oh, call my officer by her first and last name. And an inmate that's in solitary confinement for over 3 years now is being neglected. So he's trying to get the officer attention for what exactly? Oh, my beard has been growing for over a week now. I need the razor. Can you please give me a fucking razor? Where is the razor? You've been ignoring me this whole entire week. My beard is... He calls her by her first name. She doesn't respond. So he's calling her by her last name. Her supervisor comes in. How dare you call my officer by her last name? I'm going to go in and fuck you over. And that's exactly what they did. They go in, and that's why they're not releasing the CCTV video. 24 hours later, she files and says that Mustafa threatened her. 24 hours later. Really let that sink in. I mean, what do we see here? Officer Jessica Salaz has the door wide open. You're telling me an inmate threatened you and says, I'm going to find you. I'm going to be released. I'm going to find you. I know where you live. You have the door wide open and you're giving him the items? This is when? 10:24. It starts off interacting, giving Mustafa his items back at 10:20. So between 10:20 and 10:24, they give Mustafa his items, Jessica Salaz and Officer Chan. And then they continue to give him and reward this inmate that threatened them, that according to them, supposedly threatened. I'm going to go on a limb, and based on the evidence, and based on how you're interacting with Mustafa, it sure shows that Mustafa didn't threaten you. You want to tell me I'm going to put myself in your shoes as a correctional officer? You, an inmate that says, I'm going to come out, find you, I know where you live, and I'm going to unalive you. I wouldn't have the door wide open. I wouldn't be giving him his items back. I wouldn't continue to reward him and give him his items back all the way until the CCTV video ends. I mean, Officer Chan and Officer Jessica Salaz continue to be folding uniforms. I mean, they're making their rounds. They're folding uniforms. And then continue all the way till 10. All the way, this is Officer Chan, Officer Jessica Salaz, all the way until 10:40, and give and reward this inmate by giving him his items. You want to tell me an inmate just threatened you, but you're sitting there rewarding him? That doesn't make any sense. Unless he didn't threaten you. And you're lying about Mustafa. The question is, why is this not being litigated in court? Is the prosecution hiding exculpatory evidence from the defense? The whole CCTV video? Absolutely. Mustafa's lawyer it's not easy what she's doing. I mean, she's going up against the county. And what she did yesterday was beautiful. I mean, she did an amazing job yesterday. But do I completely blame Judge Weimer? Absolutely not. What should have happened yesterday, and I don't blame the lawyer because the lawyer is just coming into the case and has over 5,000 items. I mean, so Mustafa's lawyer, there's a lot of things that are going to be coming up. Mustafa's lawyer needs to find out where is the rest of the CCTV video. By the way, this is illegal. By law, it's illegal for the prosecution to hide exculpatory evidence. You're alleging that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer inside the jail, and that's why the judge is denying him bond. Because of this, they're telling you that Mustafa is a danger to the community. Well, the video shows that they've lied about Mustafa. The witness says that Mustafa never threatened anybody, and this should be litigated in court. Yesterday, the judge denied the reconsideration of the bond without listening to the witness, without looking at the CCTV video, without looking at the rest of the CCTV video from 9:30 that's hidden by the defense. That the prosecution office is hiding from the defense. Mustafa's lawyer needs to find out and hold this prosecutor accountable by telling her where is the rest of the video. Mustafa's lawyer needs to file an appeal because this evidence was not litigated. Judge Weimer ruled on the evidence, denying Mustafa a bond without looking at the evidence. Absolutely. Judge Weimer is not being impartial because the burden falls on the prosecution. The prosecutor has to prove that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. The prosecutor can't just get up and say, Your Honor, Mustafa threatened a correctional officer without evidence. The judge should have held that prosecutor accountable. It's not up to the defense to prove their innocence. It's the prosecution. Mustafa is innocent, is assumed innocent. You're innocent until proven guilty. The prosecution has a burden to prove that you're guilty. She has to show the evidence to show that Mustafa threatened a correctional officer. Mustafa is a danger to the community. But in this court, under Judge Weimer is allowing the prosecution to just do whatever they want. In this court, Judge Weimer is making it where the burden to prove that is on Mustafa. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to work that way. But Judge Weimer, and that's why we say Judge Weimer is impartial. And I don't blame Mustafa's lawyer for what happened yesterday. As a matter of fact, she did a great job. I don't blame her because she's new to the case. And she's not, there's no way that you can find out and know everything that's going on. You just came into the case. But when you do file a bond, an appeal for this bond, there is evidence that the prosecution is hiding from you, which is illegal for the prosecutor to do. Where is the rest of the CCTV video from 9:30? When you file an appeal, you need the full CCTV video. You need this CCTV video to litigate that in court. You have to put that on the giant screen in court, a giant TV. That TV that's sitting in court is not just sitting there for show. When you go into court, there's a giant TV that's on the wall. That TV is for the fucking evidence to show, did Mustafa threaten a correctional officer? Is the prosecutor lying about Mustafa? Well, there's a fucking CCTV video that's supposed to be on the record that so far no one has put on the record yet. There's a witness that recording of the witness that says Mustafa never threatened the correctional officer. Actually, they beat him up. The correctional officer went in and beat him. The rest of the CCTV video that starts from 9:30 should enter the record. Should be on that giant TV inside the courtroom. Otherwise, you're toying with Mustafa. Otherwise, we really are not having an actual bond hearing where, and unfortunately for this county, that's what they thought was going to happen until I stole the file. Until I hacked their system, I got the file that they sealed. And now I can actually sit on this podcast and litigate that this county is not being honest about the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. That Julie Carey is not updating the community on what is going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Julie Carey with NBC4, who prides herself that she's honest with this community, is actually deceiving the community for not updating the community on what they're doing in Mustafa's case. We're gonna continue to litigate what they're doing in Mustafa's case on the internet. On the next podcast, we're gonna go into more detail. We're going to go into detail into the CCTV video. We're going to listen to the full recording of what Lamar McNeil is telling us about what happened inside the jail. And we're going to continue to ask questions. Now, I want to thank Zulak. I want to thank Casey for being here. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to remind everybody to follow us on YouTube under Not Another Boring Podcast. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to support what we do on our podcast. Our channel is monetized, so you can directly support us, support our platform on YouTube, or you can simply just Cash App Boring Podcast to support that we can continue doing what we're doing. And what we're doing is simple. We're trying to hold this county accountable. We're telling you what they're doing behind closed doors. We have evidence that the county falsified a whole entire case. And if they can do that to Mustafa, they can do that to anybody. If you're telling me to get justice in this county, you have to go and access and hack the police department server. You have to create a whole entire platform to expose what they do behind closed doors. You want to tell me the only way you can get justice and expose and have a fair trial is for you to do that? I tell you, we're living in a county that's not safe. If you want to tell me that officers that wear a badge and a uniform that can just do whatever they want and falsify a whole entire case, there has to be checks and balance within a county that not allow officers to falsify and do whatever they want. But unfortunately, at Prince William County, there isn't. Under the watchful eye of Chief of Police Peter Newsham, there isn't. Officers are allowed to falsify cases. And it sure sounds that's standard operating procedure for this county, because we're finding out that they're doing it in other cases. I want to thank everybody for being here. Casey, I love you, ma'am. Zulak, thank you for being here. Farah, I love you, ma'am. And everybody that's tuning in, I want to thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cam, Judge Carol Weimer, you are under the microscope.
Morning, Chief.
Morning. Just grabbing a little H2O before the next briefing. You know, a lot of good conversations start right here at this cooler. Keeps the department running and hydrated.
Chief, we have a problem.
What's going on?
The Mustafa brothers. One of them got into evidence storage, took the Redfield file.
You're sure?
Caught him on the cameras 10 minutes ago. Damn it. Detective Forrester's been trying to track him since.
You knew exactly what he wanted. Folder was gone when I came back from the lab.
Right, lock down the exits.
We've lost another body cam node. Pull up the feed.
Found him. It's Mustafa, brother. He has the cams.
Lock down the servers. Now.
He's already inside.
Turn. This is for you, Agent Doyle. Full clip. Don't let them bury it.
Garcia, it's Reed. I need a location on Mustafa, brother. Now.
They're proud him on a rideshare trace, heading south on East Street, plate ending 068.
Sending coordinates now.
Copy that. Keep the feet up.
I'm moving. Garcia, it's Reed. I need a location on Mustafa, brother. Now.
The broadcast talk to me.
Rideshare just dropped him downtown. He's heading for a studio called FM Wave. Copy that. Put eyes on the block and lock it down. Whatever you do, don't let him air that file on his podcast. Units are en route.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you...
Good morning. I'm Julie Carey with News 4. We're walking into this county courthouse right now for another day of testimony in the high-profile trial that's drawn national attention. I'll be inside the courtroom following every development and bringing you up.
Bond hearing here in Prince William County is being presided over by Judge Carol Weimer. Overnight, leaked prosecution files surfaced showing that an assistant district attorney acknowledged there was text in the message to Dick.
Your Honor, this memo was obtained this morning by Mr. Al-Jazari's brother. It indicates the prosecution knew their case was compromised. We ask that it be entered into the record immediately. Yes.
My name is Judge Carol Weimer. Today is February 13th, 2026. On the docket this morning, we have the bond motion for Mr. Mustafa Al-Jazari.
For 3 years, the state has built its case on half-truths and misdirection. The prosecution has lied repeatedly, and today it's clearer than ever. They kept Mr. Al-Jazari behind bars on a story they knew couldn't stand. I urge the court...
Counselor, tell me why I shouldn't release Mustafa Al-Jazari.
Your Honor, I have a list of things to say.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, just one moment. I thought the exhibit was right here.
Sir?
Yes, sorry. Just give me a second.
She looks completely lost.
Yep.
Shit. I don't remember my lies.
Oh, shit. The prosecution does not remember the lie.
Judge Warner on the bench, and if I read that look right, he just realized he's got the wrong files.
Oh, wait, this isn't... Where's...
Yeah.
Confused is the word. We'll keep watching to see how he ends.